2 check. Right on time, Dakadoon, that's right. Right on time. We got a hair guy over here. What's up, folks? What's up, friends? Hello, it's nice to see ya. It's nice to see ya. Okay, so, yeah, obviously got started at noon on the dot, as you noticed. I did have to go to the store while the credits were playing. So I did go to the store while that was going on. I got an energy drink and some goldfish for my son for later. And I'm just heating up some pizza in the air fryer. I made another pizza last night. Heating that up in the air fryer, and then we're going to be good to go. The European 15-minute buffer is fine. Showing up on time is actually rude. My ironclad rule here, Amazing Bird Show, is that the credits start at noon, which happened at exactly noon again today, as you noticed. Sometimes that's a little bit longer. Sometimes I let it play through a whole cycle. But it starts... The credits start at noon. That doesn't mean me. That doesn't mean me on camera at noon. They're very different. Very different things. Anyway, that's the reason I'm like getting right down to the wires, because I was playing Red Dead Redemption 2. I finally have a PS4 again, and it's funny being excited about this system that's like 5-6 years old now, but I am. I don't know. It's a fine system. And I have like 100 PS4 games, and I'm finally getting back into Red Dead Redemption 2, and I'm sticking with it this time. I'm gonna play this entire game. And when I figure out how to do capture card stuff, I am farming pelts. Yeah, yes I am. When I figure out the capture card stuff, then I can just start the stream and finish up my cowboy time and then do this. Anyway, 1 second. I'm just gonna get my pizza from the air fryer. 1 second. Okay. Time stopped 5 years ago for Rob. I mean, in many ways it did, yes. It really was. It was like 2019 that I was playing that game the first time. Like when it first came out. And yeah, so... I never bought a PS5. No real need due to limited games. Yeah, I mean, it seems like it would be an upgrade, definitely. I think you can play your PS4 games on there as well, so... You know, I'll do it eventually. It just didn't seem like... You know, there's a couple of games on there that you can't play elsewhere, but it's like I've got so much PS4 shit to get through that it's like I feel like I'm not going to be starting brand new AAA PS5 games anytime soon. You don't need to... Yeah, for the graphics, like, I don't... Like, I'm sure there's a difference, Dr. Awesome, but it's like, you know, PS4 is pretty good. It's more just for games, like, you know, there's a few exclusives on PS5, but I think I can wait. I think I can hold out. I got plenty of PS4 stuff to get through, and like my kid is really into Ninja Turtles right now. Like he really loves Ninja Turtles right now. That's his kind of main obsession at the moment. And I got that like Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge beat 'em up arcade style game and he's gonna lose his mind. I tried it out last night, and I was like, oh man, he's gonna lose his mind over this. So it's really cool, Crystal. I started playing it last night, and it's just like, oh man, it really just delivers that TMNT arcade game feel, you know. It just completely delivers on all that, everything that makes that good and fun, and it's really cool. So he's gonna go mental when he sees that, I think. Yeah, and I'm enjoying getting back into Red Dead Redemption 2. I made it last night through the whole first chapter, the whole like winter chapter in the mountains, which is kind of a slog. It's a little tedious, but I was like, since it's been 5 years since I played this game, I'm just going to start from the very beginning. I never made it that much farther than that after getting into the horseshoe overlook or whatever. So that's what I did last night. I made myself a pizza. I fired that up. That's a nice feeling, isn't it? When you have a new game or like a new system and nothing really to do. I finished up my work at like 8 and I just made a pizza and I had the whole night stretching in front of you. I don't know, maybe it's immature since I'm a middle-aged man that, you know, maybe this is like that teenager feeling, like when you get stuffed crust pizza and rent a PS1 or whatever, that same feeling. But I still get that. And last night I was like, like it was nice to just fire that game up again, you know, put on the headphones, and yeah, I made it through that whole winter section. And that's the thing. I remember in Red Dead Redemption, like it really helps to farm pelts and hunt a lot at the beginning to get some money, like right in the beginning, and get some better weapons, like right getting started in the game, and then everything becomes a lot easier. Rent a pizza and order a PS1. Rob is struggling to connect with Gen Alpha. Well, I'm just saying that was my version of it. That was my version of it when I was like 12, 13. And it's just like, nothing is better than that. Or you go over to your friend's house that has an N64 and GoldenEye, and you have a 2-liter of Coke and a pizza. You know? And you're playing 4-player GoldenEye all night. Like that's just the good stuff. That's good stuff. And I can still kind of get that feeling when I'm an adult still, somehow. Not quite the same. You don't have your whole life stretching in front of you. Now it's stretching behind you instead of stretching in front of you. But I think one of the problems I had with Red Dead Redemption 2 when I started it was because you got to hunt and build and farm pelts and build up money. And I got tired of like carting around all these, like, you skin these carcasses and you have these gross like skinned carcasses you got to cart around everywhere. And that's one thing that I realized, you don't really need to do that. You can just like get the pelts and then you get some of the stuff and the carcass is like whatever. You can do that, but like you don't really need to. So that's what I was doing this morning. I arrived in Horseshoe Overlook. I got in that bar fight with that big Tommy guy and Valentine. Beat the shit out of him. And then I was just going out into the countryside, into the mountains, trying to find some beasts, get some pelts. It was fun. I'm actually looking forward to getting back into this time, because I really barely even scratched the surface of it the first time I tried to play it. I'm really considering getting into RDR2 roleplay servers. Those are kind of weird and inscrutable to me. It just seems like a world that I just don't really understand. Or the Grand Theft Auto roleplay servers as well. It's just like, I've seen, there's TikToks of like people on these servers that are just like role playing as cops basically, and like pulling people over for speeding tickets and like calling in all the codes and stuff. It's like, it seems a little dark to me in a way. It's like you're pretending to be a cop, like, you know, shooting people at roadside stops and stuff like that. It's like Majority Cops. Poison Arrow the Cougar. Okay, I'll remember that, Anus Beard. I'll remember that. Anyway, like I said, I am really enjoying getting into it, and I'm kind of excited because I have this whole game, that I've never really explored at all. And I loved Red Dead Redemption. Like, I loved it. So I'm kind of looking forward to getting more into that. And I actually got I got a couple of games, even though I talked a lot about like not wanting to go and get a new system and then have to spend a bunch of money on new games. But there's also this like summer sale going on. So as soon as I turned it on, I was like, oh shit. It's like these games are so cheap there. I can't not buy them. It would be like losing money to not buy these, So I got like NBA 2K4. I got the Star Wars game. Was it Fallen Order? Is that it? That's how they get you, Decadune. I got that. What's this game called? There's this game that I've been really intrigued by that was also on sale. What's it called? Sifu. See, I got this game Sifu, which seems really cool and fun. I got that as well. I downloaded Fortnite on there, even though I think I really prefer playing Fortnite on keyboard and mouse. I still have a hard time with the controller on Fortnite, but I got that. I got Rocket League again. I can get back into Rocket League. I got GTA 5, which apparently I only had for PS3. I thought I had that for PS4, but I got GTA 5. It was like $15. Again, it would have been foolish of me not to get this stuff. It would have been foolish to not get it, so. I'm waiting to upgrade my laptop before I buy things I can't play, even on super sale, because they go on super sale like every 6 months. One game that I've really wanted to play now for years, and I always wait till it goes on sale and I always miss it, is Days Gone. Did anyone play that? That always seemed really cool and fun to me, but I just never got to play it. I imagine that'll be on sale like around Halloween or whatever, but that looks good. My GF loved it. That's good. My impression was that it was trying to do the like kind of heavier drama type of story like The Last of Us, which maybe isn't as cool. But the actual zombie stuff looks really cool. That looks like the stuff that I thought when I was like, 13 years old, what I would like to have in a game. I'll wait till Halloween for that. I'm sure there'll be a sale on that around Halloween. I haven't played an NBA 2K game in quite a while either. I think the last one I had was like 2K19. So I'm kind of looking forward to messing around with that as well. Get my Rob Rousseau created player out of retirement. I haven't played Helldivers in a bit. My Helldivers obsession got really interrupted by the NBA playoffs. I know there's people in the community still playing, and Helldivers was always really fun. I enjoyed playing with randos, but it was always really, really fun playing with people. So if we get a bit of a crew going in the community, I'll definitely continue playing because I still really love that game. But I think Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be my focus. Yeah, that's the thing, Dakadoon. As much as I loved the Red Dead Redemption, I never really got into it as much. Yeah, we got a Discord off-grid. Just right there. Look at that. Nightbot. Sometimes there's been issues with the link not working, but try to join from that link, and if it doesn't work, I'll fire up a new invite. And I made a really good pizza again last night. It's not like I've had varying success with getting the crust to puff up the way I want to. This is still good though. I made this last night. It's got onion. I put a bit of bok choy on it because I wanted some like vegetables on it. I wanted mushrooms, but I didn't have any. And I put some spicy salami and spicy mortadella and jalapenos. Really good. Really good. I really like making pizza now. I've gotten quite into it. Even with my rudimentary pizza setup, I just have a little pizza pan and I put it on parchment paper, but it works pretty well. I didn't make the dough. I think I'm not quite that level of advanced yet, Max. I just get the dough from the store. And it's kind of fun just how easy it is. Really doesn't take a lot of time or effort or energy, and you can do some cool stuff. I used to make pizzas at festivals. You used to have to proof the dough in a van. It was a nightmare. That does sound like a nightmare. Excuse me. It's really good. Excuse me. Making pizzas like arts and crafts. Yeah, I'm crackety cracking. Like, I'm so used to just eating pepperoni pizza from Pizza Hut with my son, because that's really what all he ever wants. Which, you know, a pepperoni pizza from Pizza Hut is nice, but it's nice being able to just like experiment and do some different stuff. I made that weird like Korean inspired one the other day with chicken and kimchi and bok choy and stuff. That was good. It's fun. I really like it. Okay, now I'm getting going. Now I'm getting going, folks. I I was a little low energy, and now we're getting to where we need to be. We're getting to where we need to be. Oh, that's it. I'm kind of like, I do kind of wish, like, my instinct today was just to not do the stream and just to play Red Dead Redemption 2 all day, but it's like, I shouldn't do that, right? There's lots to talk about. There's lots to do. I can't just be doing cowboy shit all day. We got to get down to business at some point. You never play on stream? Well, there's a way to do it, Anus Beard, because, like, I usually play games on stream, like, from my computer. So this would involve a little bit of a different setup that I don't totally know how it works. It's not hard to figure out, I don't think, but if I can do the stream over there where my sofa is and my TV, I could stream it some more. I have to figure out the technical logistics of that. But I can do it, because, you know, why just have a hobby? Why just have a hobby or just engross yourself in a game when you can turn it into content? You know? Why not just monetize and turn every little thing about you into content for other people to consume and enjoy? Why not? Working at Pizza Hut for a couple years cured me of that. They had a corporate mandate to save the toppings from the top of the line stations, and we got dinged if it was too much waste, so the smart cooks would just put the spilled stuff on. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's nice. That sounds good. I'm going to be remembering that 2 days from now when I'm having my Pizza Hut. The haircut really emphasizes the mullet. Thank you. Yeah. See, it's like this wasn't going anywhere, you know? I think I could have even gone shorter on the sides. Like, I don't know if that would be crazy. Feel the deep seething loathing we all feel. Oh, I got that. Believe me. Believe you me. That would be nutty. I agree. I agree with that. Dakadoon's audio only. Well, you're going to have to take my word for it. I think it's a good haircut. It's good. I think it's a good cut. Another definitely on time start today? Absolutely. Started right on time, St. Lotus. It was on time for me. I can't say the same for you, but, you know, whatever. No judgment. No judgment for me. Us punctual people, it's just something that we've learned to live with. When you're punctual like me, you're just used to other people not taking your time seriously, and it's just something you have to accept. You know? I'm really looking forward to playing this Sifu. It looks really cool. I think that was all the games I got. Hey, Super Rob. Hey, Super Chat. Hello, Dick Pendarren. I'm just going to talk to the chair for 1 second. I'm just going to put my plate away. I think I'm going to get an Advil, too, as I have a little bit of a headache. So I'm going to go do that. I'll be right back. Okay. All right. The coach was only the trial balloon. He's in bed now. Eventually. Like I said, eventually I'll just have cameras all over like a little enclosure. You can observe me just like, you know, eating, sleeping, going to the bathroom, showering, whatever else. Whatever you want. I don't care. I don't care anymore. The Rob Man Show. That's right. That's right, Max. I just dropped a couple of lewds. Not those kind of lewds. Quaaludes. I'm bringing those back. Hola, Joe. What's up? Raphael is cool, but on lewds. Instead of saying, give me a break, he's just nodding off over in the corner. Michelangelo is on party lewds. Okay. TMNT just all getting blasted on lewds. That's funny. Did you take your multivitamin today? You look a little low on B12. No. Do I look low on B12? I don't even know really what that means. No, I did not. I'm not really a regular multivitamin taker. I'm just all about the real healthy lifestyle. You know, I get all my vitamins that way, through my very healthy lifestyle. Hey, Duke Vulture, what's up? I'm glad you came back. You tuned into the latter part of this stream yesterday. We were talking about serious stuff. The first part is when we talk about like lewds and, you know, jacking off and all that kind of stuff. We cover a lot of bases. We cover a lot of territory on this program. So now you're getting the other end of the spectrum. Yesterday was the serious commentary. I came to get a clout shower. Well, you're in the right place. You're in the right place. You can get your B12 from the Rain Total Body Fuel. They do have those new like healthy ones. Maybe it's in there. Is there any B12 in Monster Energy? I'm gonna say yes. Oh, look at that vitamin B12. There we go. 590% of my daily value of vitamin B12 in there. Look at that. That means I don't even have to have any more vitamin B12 for like the rest of the week. I get it covered in this. Winning. That's right. So there we go. Who's low on vitamin B12 now? I got more vitamin B12 than I know what to do with. We're B12 maxing. Yes. Blogger Rob Rousseau has died of a massive B12 overdose. Doctors say he was so healthy that it went around the other way. It's like the horseshoe theory of health, you know? If you get too healthy, it becomes unhealthy. That's what happened to me. This man was just too healthy. We've never seen someone say that he was so healthy that he died. Oh boy, we like to have fun here. You came to the ER, they started injecting toxins. That's right. Ultra marathon runners are horseshoe theory for health. I mean, there's nothing about that seems healthy. If you ever like look at what those ultra marathon people are like into and like what their feet look like and stuff, it's like there's no way you're going to convince me that's healthy. Like it's more like self-flagellation than it is like exercise. It's some kind of like atonement. It's like, what are you running from? That's what I want to ask those people. What are you running from? What are you atoning for? It is very Catholic. You can just be a masochist without fucking up all your joints. Look at me. Look at me. I treat my body like absolute shit, and I'm not a good example at all because all of my joints are fucked up, despite me not running at all. So they have microfractures in their shins that will make it so they can't walk later in life. Seems bad. Seems pretty bad. No need to run 200 miles to feel bad. I just wake up. I could start running. It would probably help me to run a little bit. I could do that, I think. A couple times a week. I'm not talking about marathons or certainly not ultra marathons, but I could run like a couple of kilometers. You know, that would probably be helpful to me. You can't even do yoga. Well, I feel like I can only do yoga, Dr. Awesome, like in response to something that some issue that I'm having. You know, I was having really bad pains in my neck. I did yoga. It fixed the pain in my neck. And then I was like, I'm good. I'm cured. I'm cured now. Get high and do yoga. Yeah. I know I should do my yoga. I should get a yoga mat. MK Ultra Marathoning, sponsored by the CIA. Is there a way, like, on Google Maps to, like, plot out a little, like, route? And then see how long it is? Trackmyrun.com, okay. I guess that's something I should do later, not like right now while a bunch of people are just like looking at me while I like squint at the screen and click around. My blood pressure went down. I better take myself off this medication. That's right, exactly. Thank you. Thank you for recognizing that. You know, I had ADHD. I took some Adderall. I had my concentrated better, and I was like, well, it looks like this worked wonders. That's literally what I did do. This is how my brain works. Walk a boomer around through a worldwide website segment. Everyone loves this content. Everyone's like, let's ignore my responsibilities for the day to tune this in to watch this man click around on a screen that we can't even see. You can get Adderall. I got Adderall like years ago. I got Adderall prescription pretty easily, actually. But I don't know. I stopped taking it. I stopped feeling the effects as much. My body was telling me to take more and more and more. And I was like, this is probably not good. I think the thing about Adderall also is that sometimes you can get really, really fixated on... It doesn't mean that you're going to be productive. Like, you can get fixated on unproductive things as well. Like, you still have to have there's a mental component where you have to still do the things that you're supposed to do. Sometimes you can get totally fixated on other things that are not productive. What are those things? I don't know. We don't need to get into it, but that shit worked for me so well. Here in America, they make you do a whole circus show just to get tested for it now. I don't know if it would be any different now, Weenus, because this was probably about 10 years ago that I got it. But I just went to the walk-in clinic. And I went to the walk-in clinic and I was like, I think I have ADHD. And he's like, here, you fill out this little like form. Like, do you experience this? Yes, no. And it was just like, yes, 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 yes. And I wasn't lying. Like, I legitimately had all the symptoms that were in this little piece of paper. And he was just like, here's Adderall. I wouldn't mind having some now, I'll tell you that much. I wouldn't mind having a bottle now. But I would probably have to go get a new prescription for it. It wasn't recreational. I legitimately needed it. One of the main reasons I got fired from my job was because I was like completely incapable of working anymore. Which was caused by ADHD. It was also caused by depression, but it was not recreational. It was a legitimate prescription, a legitimate diagnosis. I just eventually stopped taking it because there was that brief moment where I was like, oh, this is working so well. I can feel myself having more energy and blah, blah, blah. I've lost some weight and it's all this good stuff. And then eventually I stopped feeling the effects as much. If you feel like you needed to take more, you must have needed it. Yeah, well, I probably do. It probably wouldn't hurt to have some more of that, but you know what I really hate doing is going to the doctor. I haven't been to the doctor in quite a while, and there's a number of both physical and mental ailments that I could probably get checked out. It would not hurt to get checked out, and I just really do not like doing it. Caffeine is often abused by people with ADHD. I don't know. I would like to see more research on that, I think. Oh, that's good caffeine. I'm Dr. Streaming and I diagnosed you with awesome. Thank you, Dick Penderin. I have undiagnosed ADHD and I love caffeine. Well, that's the thing. I'm diagnosed. I'm unmedicated. I'm all self-medication, baby. Going to the doctor in Canada is like a full day event. I don't know. Like I've always had an okay experience going to just like walk-in clinics in Montreal, but it's been a while since I've tried to do it, honestly. And I don't have a family doctor. I don't have a family doctor, and I have no idea how to get one. No clue. Literally, I would not know the first thing about how to do that. And I probably just never will. My kid is a doctor, yeah. Yeah. Can your kid's doctor be your doctor? No, they're like a kid's doctor. I could just bring my kid to a checkup and be like, hey, by the way, you wanna check me out a little bit as well while we're here? While we're all here, you know? I'm a child at heart, exactly. It's gotten better. The government actually managed to get a site online where you can find a walk-in appointment the same day. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. In the past, I've never really had an issue getting one, at least the next day. But haven't really tried for a while. Sorry for the Nerf gun. It's here by my desk because I was using it as a prop the other day. And it's just kind of satisfying to hold on to sometimes, you know? It's kind of satisfying. It's like a stimming thing, I think. I'm lucky because my mom found a family doctor and got me in. Then he retired and he gave us the number of a brand new clinic just opening, which is okay because I was continued to have a family doctor, but scary because he's a noob. Well, that's it. He's got to practice his trade somehow. Bon. GEP equals gooning practitioner. That's right. That's why they call it practicing medicine. That's right. Exactly. Anybody, maybe eventually I will go back to the doctor for the various physical and mental health issues that I have that probably need to be checked out. Eventually I will. One of these days. There will come a day when Rob will go to the doctor again, but today is not that day. Oh my last dentist visit was a while ago. It was definitely several years ago. I'm trying to take my dental health a bit more seriously. I do have one of those like water picks. I'm trying to do a whitening session as well. I don't know if you can tell. I got some Crest white strips. I got a water pick. I'm trying to like maintain it that way. I hate the dentist. If there's one thing I hate more than the doctor, it's the goddamn dentist. Not only does it suck to go to the dentist, I know it's important. Not only does it suck to go, but it's like they have to the floss police, exactly. They have to shame you. It's not enough that they're poking shit into your gums and stuff. Sticking tubes in your mouth and everything, but they've got to shame you and make you feel bad about yourself at the same time. Like, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate. Can we just clean my teeth? Can you spare me the moral lecture, please? Can you spare me the moral lecture? Just let's clean my teeth and let me get out of here, please. Own your lack of hygiene. Listen, I brush and floss. Does water flossing count as real flossing? I think yes. I think yes. First NHS physiotherapy clinic run by AI to start this year. These are the great new reforms that Keir Starmer is going to bring into place once the Keir Starmer has full control over the British Parliament. It's called innovation. St. Lotus, what, are you against innovation? Google Dr. Ellie Phillips and watch her videos. They will save your mouth without the dentist. Okay, drippy shits. Thank you for that advice. Dr. Ellie Phillips. I've been doing pretty okay lately with the water flossing, the brushing, the whitening. I'm getting by. I get most of my dental advice from drippy shits. Most of the people in this community give me official medical and dental and mental health advice as well. Right now I have no dental insurance either, so it's just there's definitely no way. Maybe one day I will have dental insurance again, but that's going to be not anytime soon, I don't think. If you wait another 5 years, it might just be free. Eventually, if we get some kind of dental, if they decide that the bones in your mouth count as healthcare, if our government might be able to come to some kind of decision on that, that'd be nice. Assuming the Conservatives don't kill that dental insurance program expansion, I'm sure they will. I don't doubt that they will. It's inflationary. How are they going to pay for it, PM Trio? How are you going to pay for it? Everyone knows when you give people the ability to get their teeth fixed, it causes prices to go up at the grocery store. Everyone knows this. Everyone is aware of this. I'm serious. I was in the same boat and it really works. My teeth were shit and her system works. It's just 3 different mouth rinses and no flossing ever. Wow, drippy shits. This is very interesting. Do you get some kind of a commission for bringing people into like the Dr. Ellie Phillips pyramid of teeth dental health? And you get a little commission? Is that how this goes? What's the referral code? Yeah. Drippy shits 69. I'm sorry, drippy shits. I know you're just trying to help. I don't mean to make fun. She's the one dentist out of 5 who doesn't endorse the toothpaste ad. Dr. Ellie Phillips. Dr. Ellie's complete mouth care system is a specific collection of oral care products that are commonly found in grocery stores. The power to protect and heal adult teeth is generated by the combined use of the products in a specific method. I'm intrigued. I'm very intrigued, I gotta say. I will be looking into this because it's gonna be a while. It's going to be a while before I see an actual dentist, so I got to take what I can get here. And if that means YouTube recommendations from chatters named Drippy Shits, you better believe I'm going to follow that advice. Hunter Biden was found guilty on 1 count of his smoke being too tough, 1 count of his swag being too different, and 1 count of his bitch being too bad. All right, you know what, Drippy Shits? I believe you. I believe you. I'm going to try this out, and I'm going to report back. Rob Rousseau later died from taking a toxic combination of dental health care products. It's something we talked about on, you know what, like, before we get into like the serious political stuff, the people that get the veneers. I hate how everyone on TV has veneers now, and it just looks so weird. You know? It looks really weird.
You're gonna have good old Rob to talk.
Everyone's got these like pristine, blindingly white teeth. I think it's like, talk about horseshoe theory. It goes back around and they start looking bad, even though they're like super white and straight and clean. But like when you get veneers, they have to like turn your teeth into like little nubs. It's super messed up. You gotta have little nub teeth for the rest of your life. Like Biden's unnatural rictus grin. Absolutely, yeah. That normal looking Hollywood smile. I really find it like upsetting to look at. Show me what them nubs do. God damn. I find it really strange, but it's like, yeah, it's like I would much rather have just like normal looking teeth than like even slightly fucked up looking teeth than this like little, you get these little nubs ground down and then you get these blindingly white veneers popped on there. I don't know. I find it's a weird look. And Bleep Lord, thanks for gifting a sub to Dr. Ellie Phillips. I watched someone get those done on America's Next Top Model once. It was freaky. It seems freaky. Considering they mostly just ADR everything now, I believe all actors are wearing false teeth in every scene. It's really one of the big differences between like actors in the prior to like the 90s as well. Just having like normal, just regular fucked up looking teeth, you know? And now these like, just like people that are playing like average characters have these like, everyone has these perfect smiles. I find it really unsettling. I want the nub teeth with no veneers. There we go. Let's do more of that. Let's do more of that. We need more ugly actors. Seriously. Like, we really do. This is where I come in. This is where I'm going to launch my acting career. I'm going to draw a line in the sand. We need more actors that look like weird freaks. Like me. And we're out of shape, and we're gross looking. We got bad teeth, and we're just pieces of shit. Hire more fucked up looking pieces of shit like me. I'm gonna be a I'm gonna be the hero to fucked up looking pieces of shit around the world to show them that you can do it. You can do this. You can be accepted. Did you get the rodent men thing? Yeah, we did. I saw the headlines. Said it's like rodent boy summer. I don't know. I'm not really like a rodent man. I'm more of like a possum. I don't know. Rodents are very like gaunt. I'm definitely not gaunt. I don't know what marsupial animal I would describe myself as. A chubby little hamster. I guess that works. Capybara summer, that's right. We'll let the ladies waste their time with the rodent men. Meanwhile, the big boys over in Capybara summer are going to be having the time of our lives. Sitting around in little baths with little citrus baths together. Do you think Steve Buscemi could have broken into today's industry if he was starting out now? I don't know. I mean, young Steve Buscemi was pretty hot, I think, even though he was kind of a weird-looking guy. But maybe not. I don't know. I'm not sure. Citrus baths are for the boys. Yeah, and guess what? The girls, you're not invited, okay? You're not invited. Me and the boys are going to get in our citrus baths together and just kind of chill out in there. I'm going to be floating around with like a little orange slice on my head, relaxing. And the ladies, the girls are not welcome. You can go after the rodents. Capybaras are rodents, okay? But I don't think that's what it means in like rodent boy summer or whatever it is. Rodents are cute. I agree. My point is the ladies are not invited to the capybara boy citrus baths, okay? That's just for the fellas. The jet skiing squirrel. I don't know. I don't know. Hamster Lad, the new Hollywood look that's driving the ladies of Montreal crazy this summer. You just wait. Capybara Boy Citrus Bath Time definitely sounds like a manga. Who wants to get in my Capybara Boy Citrus Bath with me? Those spots are going to fill up quick, so you gotta stake your claim. I remember when I saw Steve Buscemi in King of New York, I was like, holy shit, he looks young. I've just been watching season 5 of The Sopranos as well, which is this Buscemi season. And I feel so bad for him. It's like, that like he's trying to go straight. He gets out of prison and he's trying to go straight and become a massage therapist. And you just know that he's going to get pulled into the criminal lifestyle and he's going to fuck everything up. And you're just waiting for it to happen. It's so depressing. And it was the one I watched last night when they're about to open this massage parlor and he just loses it on his boss who he went into business with and just beats the shit out of him and it blows it. And now he's probably going to end up dead or back in jail. That show is so I enjoy watching it, but it's so depressing. God. And it's so hard to watch, fuck. Like Tony's always assaulting AJ. The violence in that show I find very upsetting, honestly. There was that whole episode the other day where Carmela's his wife. Adriana, when she's with Tony and they get in a car accident, when there's like kind of something kind of flirtatious going on with them, but nothing happens, but they get in a car accident, and then Christopher she's in her fucking neck brace and Christopher assaults her. It's so upsetting to look at. I can't this whole thing of yeah, these guys are so cool. I really find it hard to watch sometimes. I like the show, but I do not buy into this whole anti-hero. Oh, these guys they're cool and badass. It's really fucking gross sometimes. Christopher is the worst. And I kind of know where that storyline is going to, and I'm already depressed before even seeing it play out. I don't think you're supposed to identify with him. Well, I know you're not supposed to, but it seems like a lot of people do. That's the weird thing. Just like the whole Walter White thing. You're supposed to not want to be like these people. And all these fucking dumbasses are yeah, they're so cool. Jesus. They're depraved, violent psychos. You're just seeing their perspective. Exactly. And you can still kind of like understand that someone's like a protagonist and you follow them while also not empathizing with them or sympathizing with them. You're supposed to ponder being flawed. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. That's another thing too. I'm getting targeted ads on Instagram now that's like, get these Tony Soprano shirts, these Tony Soprano outfits. And I'm like, okay, Instagram, I get it. Thank you. Thank you, Instagram. Message received loud and clear. I fucking get it. Thank you. Jesus. It is the performances are fantastic. Like James Gandolfini is fantastic in it. And it's weird. It's like you're so used to seeing him like that. When you see James Gandolfini doing interviews using his like normal voice, and it's like jarring. It really sucks that James Gandolfini died too. What a great actor. I'm just like Tony Soprano. I have a crippling addiction to gabagoo. It was another one that I watched last night. It was the same one where Carmela's she's having an affair with like, because this is after they get separated. And she's having an affair with with AJ's like principal, played by David Strathairn, who's another amazing character actor. And at one point, Tony just comes over and just like strips off all his clothes and like, he's like, I'm taking a swim, and just dives into the pool. And Carmela's just like, it's like, God damn. She's just like, who is this guy? The Mao Soprano shirt is cool, at least. It was funny seeing people freak out about the Mao Soprano shirt. They're wearing Mao shirts. Oh my God, and it's Mao Tony Soprano. Man. I was at a wedding and Strathairn was a guest. Very chill dude. Awesome character actor, David Strathairn. You know, a random movie that I remember him from is The River Wild with David Strathairn, and Meryl Streep and Kevin Bacon. It's like a whitewater rafting thriller. Remember that? And of course, Sneakers. Yes. Sneakers is the classic as well. The River Wild is very random though. Hey, I'm freaking killing landlords over here. I have not seen River Wild since probably 1996, nor have I thought about it. I think I just thought about it because I saw David Strathairn in Sopranos. They don't make many whitewater rafting thrillers anymore because now you'd have to do it with like Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, and it would cost $150 million. And everyone would be like, why did our whitewater rafting thriller not recoup its money? It's because you spent $150 million on it. All on green screen. Yeah, and it would, of course, be woke, of course, as well. This summer, they're taking a holiday to terror.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Thank you, Venus, for the gifted sub. To our gifting sub to our friend Cinnamon Challenge. They'd spend $200 million on a CGI river instead of filming at a river. Yeah. Listen. Someone give me $15 million. I'll give you a whitewater rafting thriller. All right. I'll figure something out. If someone gave me that money, I could make you a whitewater rafting thriller. All right. And we speak on it all the time. whiz-biz. It's insane. Like, this is what I've been talking about with like a lot of these movies that they're looking around going, why didn't this make money? Why didn't Fall Guy make money? You know? And it's like, you're spending too much money on these goddamn movies. I hope Furious isn't pulled from cinemas already, because I want to see it. I honestly just haven't felt like going by myself, and I just don't have anyone to go to it with, as sad as that is. It was mid. I'm just like, I've been getting into those Mad Max movies. That was always kind of a blind spot for me. I watched Fury Road. I watched The Road Warrior. I want to see this movie. I didn't see the first Mad Max, but I feel like you can just jump into The Road Warrior without having seen the original. I highly recommend the Australian film Don's Party. It's extraordinarily depressing. Another depressing and scary Australian movie is Wolf Creek. Anyone ever see Wolf Creek? Wolf Creek is fucking terrifying. It's about a creek with a wolf. That's right. Yeah. It's a bit of a meme on Twitter that Ocean's 11 was made for $85 million. Yeah, and look at the cast on that as well. Like, the cast of that movie is crazy. Like, just, it wouldn't, $85 million wouldn't even cover the cost of hiring that cast now. I love Ocean's 11. It's basically a perfect movie. Yeah, the sequel's not so much. Yeah, and it's all real locations. It looks like a fucking movie. I don't even want to start ranting about this again. But, like, that's the problem, right? Movies don't look like movies anymore. They exist in this weird, like, uncanny valley where you don't know what's CGI and what's not. It doesn't look real. It doesn't look like a movie. It just doesn't. It looks like something else. I don't know, not to rant about all this again. This is a common old man yells at cloud segment. Half cartoon, half real. Yeah, the movies look like ads. It's true. I hate it. You can go back and just look at the most like random shitty movies from the late 80s and early 90s, and they look better. They look better than a lot of modern $200 million blockbuster films. I think the first Aussie flick I saw was the one where two girls shack up with a radio DJ for a while before getting bored and killing him. The name escapes me. I've never heard about that one. Wolf Creek, I would recommend if you like horror, Wolf Creek is really good. And Wolf Creek is a good, I don't even want to spoil it because if you don't know anything about it and you go in totally blind, you kind of think it's about one thing and then it kind of switches gears an hour in, which is that I always enjoy that kind of trope. This is like when I drink and complain about how they need to bring back squibs. We absolutely need to bring back squibs. I hate the CGI blood stuff. It looks so bad. But squibs take longer. You got to set up, and if it doesn't work, you got to go and do it again. Then do it again. Then get a new costume. Set up the squibs again, and do it again. It didn't look right the second time. Do it again. Are you even saving money and time on the CGI thing? Like, it looks worse. Look at Total Recall. How shitty would Total Recall look if all the gunshots and the violence is all CGI blood, CGI bullet wounds and stuff? It would suck. I want to see the visceral explosions of gore. Doing his best Kubrick impression. Exactly. Well, that's how you do it. Like, I really like hearing David Fincher talk about this, because you have actors that have been in like David Fincher movies that kind of find it very intense and very like hard to do, like the same thing like over and over and over. And David Fincher is just like, we're spending all this money. We have the set, we have the lighting, we have the actors. I'm going to do it as many times as necessary to get it what I want. I don't care. We're not trying. It's not a race. We're not trying to do a race. We're trying to make a fucking movie. We're all here. Let's sit here. Let's make sure we get absolutely everything that we need. That we're not in a rush. Real squibhead hours. It's true. I've been so lucky enough to work on 2 mid-budget indie films. Blood work is so fun. It sounds like it is. I want squibs up the Reds. Give me the squibs. There's a great Twitter account called Daily Squibs. I don't know if you... I'm sure if we're sitting here talking about squibs, I'm sure you follow it. Daily Squibs is great. Every single day you get a little dose of squibby goodness. What is a squib? Dude, it's in filmmaking, like special effects, it's like a little blood pack that you put on an actor that explodes. And it goes, ugh! You know? And that's how they used to do like people getting shot on films, and then they stopped doing it because it's annoying and expensive and takes a long time to set up. But it looks fucking great. And you can't use a computer and make it better. It just looks worse every single time. I'm sure you guys are all subscribed to the Squib Nation podcast. That actually would be a good podcast. Exactly, Amazing Bird Show. The S tier of squib tech is Total Recall. Absolutely. The guy on the escalator. I always feel so bad for that guy. The poor bastard on the escalator just gets turned into fucking hamburger. It's just an innocent bystander. Arnold using him as a human shield. It's so bad. Poor guy. You use the computer to mark up the size of the squib. Exactly. And you know what? It just looks great. It looks fantastic. Squibbity toilet. There we go. Presidency will bring back practical effects. Thank you. RoboCop, great squib, of course. It's Verhoeven. Verhoeven was the fucking man. The squib master. I do sell a shirt on Redbubble that says, bring back squibs. I might have to get it. I may have to get one. I prefer Total Recall in my Verhoeven, but RoboCop, obviously excellent as well. Apparently RoboCop 2 is worth watching as well, even though it's not Verhoeven. I haven't seen RoboCop 2 for a really long time. Let's see some squib action here. Is it going to open the right one? It's always a...
Jack!
Oh.
Jesus Christ.
Desperado's got some great squibs as well. Desperado is one of my favorite movies. This is from Extreme Prejudice, which is one that I haven't seen, but it's Walter Hill, I believe, who's pretty great. Yeah, you got Michael Ironside. You know it's going to be good. Can you do an impression of Trump talking about how Biden stole his squibs away? And Joe Biden, he's taken the squibs. We used to have, in this country, some of the very best squibs that you can imagine. We're bringing it back. People come up to me, they say, sir, where have the squibs gone? We used to have squibs. Donald Trump. In Trump's America, we had some of the very best squibs. We are going to bring the squibs back. They come up to me, tears in their eyes, and they say, sir, please, we got to bring back the squibs. We got to bring back those squibs. Trump is directly between Alex Jones and Jiminy Glick. I'm getting it, okay? I'm getting it. I've improved, at least. Oh, man, you know what some of the best... Let me see if I can find it. It's from that movie with Treat Williams. That, like, weird, like, undead, like, Treat Williams cop movie. You know what I'm talking about? There's a scene in that. There's a scene in that the undead Treat Williams zombie cop movie. Dead Heat. Joe, thank you for the gifted sub. I appreciate it. Dead Heat with Joe Piscopo. I've actually never seen this movie. I have never seen this movie before, but just from this scene alone makes me want to watch it. I've got to watch it someday. It's just absurd. Now this is cinema. Now this is cinema, folks. This could be us, but you playing. Just guys being dudes. Yeah, and he sets a few shots at the end there just for good measure. I love that. We used to be a proper country. We used to be a proper culture. You know? I don't believe the human body can withstand that amount of bullets. Well, you can clearly see that it can in this case. If you're an undead super cop. If you're an undead super cop, it can. They were undead, exactly. Free on Tubi. Interesting, Sinchon. Maybe I will watch it. Maybe I will watch this one. Are they both undead? They must be, because this other guy's... He's taken a lot of bullets himself. This, like, kind of Frasier-looking guy. Everything about this scene is so great. The shakes, man. This is the only scene in this movie I've ever seen. This is one of the lost episodes of Frasier. Niles, this is the worst idea you've ever had. Man. Squibs, man. This is what a shootout with Hunter Biden on crack would be like. That's right. He takes on superhuman powers when he's smoking that crack. It's very easy to criticize when you're not in this situation yourself. Exactly. Oh, good Lord, Niles. Brrrap. Like, I should watch this movie, but I almost feel like I've seen the pinnacle of the movie, so I may not need to, but. And then his sister wife puts his gun in a trash can. Hey, Barry, how's it going? Just lunch with rib. Well, I'm happy to have you. He thought he was getting tossed salads and scrambled eggs, but this summer he's getting bulleted full of death. Bullet Death Squibmaster. Starring Kelsey Grammer. Anyway, eventually I'm going to have to start talking about like the news and stuff, right? We're an hour and 37 minutes into the stream, and this is as far as we've gotten. And maybe I seem a bit confused. Well, maybe, but I shot you dead. The squibs to petrodollar discourse. Some great squibs in Terminator 2 as well. Some fantastic squibs in Terminator 2. I mean, it gets into that question, like, do you really just like this stuff from the late 80s and early 90s because that's when you were a kid? And it's just nostalgia? But it's like, no, it actually did look better. It looked better than it does now. That opening sequence of T2 is one of the most amazing things ever put to film. And like we're talking about WizBiz, no green screen. No green screen at all. All of that, all those effects are done in camera. You have a camera. It's photography. You have a camera and you're taking a picture and all of the effects are in the camera. It's all rear screen projection and miniatures and that stuff. Well, there's CGI. It was early CGI, so there's the T-1000 and stuff like that. But that's the perfect use of CGI, where it looks cool and different and creative and exciting. But I'm talking about the opening Future War sequence. I'm talking about the opening Future War sequence, the Los Angeles 2029 sequence, which is all done with rear screen projection. There's no CGI. It may be the laser blasts, but I don't even think that. I think that's like rotoscoped. I don't even think that's CGI. That scene when the T-1000 gets split in half, it was all AI. That scene where the T-1000 gets split in half by the grenade launcher is just amazing. Yeah, and that's a mix of CGI and practical. That whole thing of the T-1000 tottering around when it's all blown in half, that's a practical effect. It looks fucking amazing. I know one movie in the 90s that used real bullets, The Crow. You want to stay away from those. I like realism and squibs and all that stuff, but we don't want to go too far with it, I think. There you can go too far. Predator had nothing. Predator is a bunch of sweaty dudes in the jungle, sweaty, muscly dudes in the jungle, a guy in a really cool rubber suit, and a bunch of guns and blanks and squibs. That's all you need. That is all you need. Just get a bunch of sweaty, muscly dudes, throw them in a jungle, make a cool rubber costume, throw that in there, and you got something special. You got something magical. Starring Kelsey Grammer. I would like a T2 theatrical re-release. I would love to see T2 in the theaters again. They should just play T2 in the movie theater. Give it a 2-week run in the movie theaters every summer. Why not? Why not? Why not just take 2 weeks out of the summer to just release T2 again every single year? Who says no? Why not do this? It's like, let's remake this movie. Why remake the movie? Just take the movie, put it back in the movie theater, and we'll just go watch that. It's already finished, you know? The movie's already finished. Total Recall is a perfect example. And you find a local smaller theater if you can. A lot of times they do screenings of older movies. Yeah, talking about James Cameron, I saw The Abyss in theater a couple months ago, and it was fucking sick. Put me in charge of Hollywood, please. I could fix Hollywood with these 3 simple steps. Squibs, spend less money on movies, and just re-release movies that are good in the movie theater. With these 3 simple steps, we can fix the movies. I can find some non-dude movies. Cinema Challenge. Maybe, eventually. Like what, Rob? Like, Okay. Number 1, Squibs. 2, No Millions for Cast. 3, re-release classics. Easy. I just fixed Hollywood. If anyone from Hollywood is watching this, you're welcome. You're welcome. Number 4, Goonin. Make gooning allowed in the theater as well. No, don't do that. I just enjoy how much you like him. Well, thank you, Cinnamon Challenge. This is just the shit I grew up with. These were the movies that I got incredibly hyper fixated on when I was like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. But like I said, part of it is nostalgia for me, definitely. I can own up to that. But also, movies were just better. Movies were just better at that time. That's just the reality. I mean, even watching movies from the 60s, the other, like, I've been getting more into that. The 60s have always been kind of a blind spot for me. Like, really, my movie appreciation starts in like the mid to late 70s. But just watching like Zulu and watching Once Upon a Time in the West over the last couple of weeks, I've just been sitting in my apartment watching these movies going, oh my God, God damn it. What a fucking movie. When was Doctor Strangelove? That was like, I want to say 64? It was 64. Okay, good. They simply don't make movies like The Sting anymore. No, and that's another movie that I watched over the last year, which I had never seen before. And what do you know? I had the same reaction. Oh, what a fucking movie! You know, it's true. And I watched Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid as well. I've been going in on all these old classics. I blame Fast and Furious and Transformers. I never got into the Fast and Furious movies. Transformers is frustrating too because Transformers is Michael Bay. And Michael Bay used to make movies that looked like fucking movies. They don't make great movies like Soul Man anymore. Exactly. Thank you. I was just about to say that as well. It's a movie that I definitely really love and whose message I support wholeheartedly. Art is subjective, Rob. Not all movies should be filled with squibs and patriotic songs about whales. Well, agree to disagree. Oh, I saw this the other day as well, Diego. The lens wipe in the abyss, and I never would have noticed it if I hadn't seen that like tweet. Man, was the abyss? Did that ever kick ass in the movie theater? It was like I had seen it a couple times, but it's like it totally changed the whole experience. Seeing the abyss in the theater with the big sound, especially, was crazy. Actually, I don't think I have seen Duel. I think I saw it maybe when I was a kid, but I haven't seen it recently. That's the thing, Perfect Spoiler. That would be my number 4. My number 4 suggestion to fix Hollywood. More patriotic Welsh songs. Add some more patriotic Welsh songs into the movies. God damn it, I got to watch The Abyss again. If you do ever get a chance to see it in the theater, because they did this 4K remaster, that's why it got a few little theatrical releases, and there's like an independent theater in Montreal that I went to. And it was so great. Ugh. I just saw there's a new Tanky Therapy released. There's a brand new Tanky Therapy on the East is a Podcast YouTube channel. I'm going to go ahead and link to that. I think there was a bunch of technical issues in this one. And I think for the first thing that I said, my mic was set to my camera mic, but I eventually figured it out. Oh, I was invited. I was there. I'm in this one. They don't make them like they used to. I didn't know McBain was like an actual movie with Christopher Walken. Have you seen The Wild Bunch? No, that one's on my list as well, though. I got to do Good, the Bad, and the Ugly as well. I'm missing out on so many of these classics that I've never seen. I'm really trying to catch up to them, but now I'm going to be stuck on Red Dead Redemption 2 for a while, though. So I think it might be a while till I get to it, because now I'm cowboy pilled. I'm cowboy maxing. Hey Brandon, what's up? I've been playing BG3 after months of it just sitting in my Steam. I have so many fucking games that I've not ever played. I have so many games in Steam that I've never played. It's just like absurd. But I'm finally getting into Red Dead Redemption 2 to bring it all the way back to what we started off talking about. Barry, thanks for the gifted sub. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you, Barry. I appreciate it. And Joe, thank you for the gifted sub as well. I can't remember if I said thank you for that or not. If anyone else does want to subscribe, I know we haven't done all that much today. I feel like I've been talking about the movies a lot. I do enjoy talking about it. But yeah, please subscribe if you can, folks. I'm gonna move on in a little bit to actually talking about the news, etc. But if you can, please subscribe. It's the only way that this show stays on the air, folks. This community that you love, whether you're a loyal chatter or a lurker, or if you just been brought in by the algorithm, if you can, please do support this community by subscribing. I'm trying to make the little number at the bottom of the screen go up each and every day. If possible, please subscribe. It's $5 a month. It's totally free of charge. If you have an Amazon Prime account, you can easily turn that into a Twitch Prime sub. Really helps me out a whole lot. Please subscribe if you can, because I really appreciate it. And it's the only way that I'm able to keep doing this show each and every day is through the very generous support of the people in the community who help me every single day make this little number at the bottom of the screen go up. How cold is the crab dip today? I don't know, it's just regular fridge temp. I don't see what the issue is. If you don't subscribe, another squib will be destroyed by Hollywood. Every time I finish short of the sub goal, Hollywood takes away another squib. That's all right, Lodane. I'm glad you could pass by. Don't worry about it. We got it under control. Think of the squibs, folks. Please think of the squibs. Another CGI bro gets a mouse. Take care, Barry. Thanks for stopping by. I'm here for the streaking. Woo! Woo! So any more takers on that call to action, that highly successful call to action before we move on here? any more takers on the call to action to please support this channel. Remember, I don't do any ad breaks. I don't have any sponsorships. I don't have any of that shit. I do get offered to do that kind of stuff sometimes. I don't want to. I don't like it. I don't understand how the ad stuff works. I don't like doing it. I'm entirely reliant on the extreme generosity of the community members. It's the only way I'm able to do this show each and every day. Through the generosity of sub-gifters like Anon. Thank you, Anon. Thank you, Anon. I really appreciate it. Offered by the Chinese Communist Party, no doubt. I would be happy to get a sponsorship from the CPC. Yeah, I would be happy to. I would absolutely accept that in a heartbeat. Perfect Speller, thank you for the gifted sub as well. Thank you, Perfect Speller. I love it, just the generic sub alerts just appear one day. Whatever, who cares? Who cares? It's like a fun little... It's just a fun little surprise. Got your good old Rob to talk you through all this. Exactly. That's what I do. That's what I do here. Maybe one thing we could watch today is this. God, that sound is so jarring. Brandon, thank you very much for the gifted sub. I really appreciate it. Thank you for that. I see John Mearsheimer just spoke to Katie Halper about this idea of, like, you know, Russia, Israel, World War III. I don't know if he touches on Taiwan at all. That could be good to take a look at, though. A nice long John Mearsheimer, friend of the show, John Mearsheimer. Also, the latest Insurgents episode with Ken was great. Listened on my commute home. Good. Good. Yeah. No, I'm glad people liked it. Mearsheimer has been on TRRS. Well, no, he's an unofficial friend of the show. Unofficially. Oh, this is totally a scam. Hey there, just a quick note to let you know your order is underway and will be reprogrammed shortly. You'll receive an email confirmation as soon as it's finished. Thank you so much for your purchase and for choosing us. And it seems there's a PDF. Norton. We're delighted that you've selected our services for another 2 years. Your Norton LifeLock membership is set to renew, and $899 will be taken from your account today. Please tell us within the next 12 hours if you are sure that you did not approve this transaction on our helpline number. Within 24 hours, the transaction will appear on your bank statement. I just got to send them my banking info and they can get that sorted out. I don't want that. I don't have $899 for Norton antivirus. I got to get in touch with these people. I got to get in touch with these people right away and make sure they have my bank account info. Send them your social security numbers to make sure it's valid. Well, we have social insurance number in Canada, but yeah, same difference. But yeah, you want to ensure that they know that I'm who I say I am, right? So it's like, I think before even asking, just include that as well. Include that info as well. Just put the 50K. You have to give us 50K. I know, in order to get you out of this $899 payment, just simply put 50K in a shoebox, but you're not actually giving us that money though. What we're going to do is take that 50K and we're going to make sure that it's clean. And then we're going to give it back to you in gift cards. Yes. You don't end up being a schmuck or something. I'm going to give them my banking info without my social insurance, wasting everyone's time. Yeah, no thank you. Jeez, who do these people think I am? When I found out that person was a financial advisor, I lost my shit. I think by the end of the craze of that story, I think I came around to the idea that she was not being honest about what happened. I really wanted to believe it because it's a really kind of a funny story. Not funny for her, obviously, but I the more I thought about it, the more I think that she was not being honest about what happened, and that she had to concoct a story about a missing 50K to probably explain to her partner or husband or whatever, and had to come up with something about a CIA scam or whatever. That was fun. That was a fun day though when we read that article on here though. That was a good time. Anyway, you got to watch out there. I think she did get scammed, but for not for that much. Yeah, that could be it. Yeah, I thought there was some kind of like she had to concoct some kind of a story for her husband or whatever. Maybe there's some kind of illicit situation going on. I got involved in this like fake CIA scam. She got Ashley Madison. Yeah, I can't imagine a bank manager letting you withdraw 50K in cash and has no questions. Yeah, I think in this story it was just like they gave me a little note about how to avoid scams, but like there was no other words. I'm back from hot rodent research. Unfortunately, not the jet skiing squirrel. No, I think it's more than that. Well, listen. Oh, did I want to talk about like AOC stuff some more? Like again, I started looking at that thread yesterday of like AOC and her like conference against anti-Semitism thing, and the people she was talking to, and like anti-Semitism in our leftist spaces, which is basically just like saying Zionists need to be included in like progressive left movements, and if they're not, it's anti-Semitic. That was a whole. I mean, I linked the thread yesterday. There was more info about it. Apparently, the person she was talking to had spread the whole like rape hoax propaganda thing as well. The person that AOC brought on. Yeah, and there was the whole Nova recreation, and then you have all the people. You have AOC and Jamal Bowman, and all these people scolding people that protested, saying you supported the Nova shooting. And then all the people that were doing this, like, we will dance again Nova thing, I'll have all these, like, psychotic Islamophobic signs and stuff that they're carrying. This whole thing, we will dance again. It's like they're already still dancing. They're dancing in Tel Aviv right now. Like, they're this idea that the dancing has stopped in Israel. It's not the case. There's still dancing going on. I'm sorry your little party outside the concentration camp turned out that way. I really am. But, like, this whole victim routine, after 8 months of mass murder, this whole victim routine thing, it's wearing a little thin. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that sounds insensitive. You know? Hassan spent half an hour yesterday attacking people who were questioning AOC for being on that panel. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. No comment. But look, Jamal Bowman. I condemn those celebrating the innocents killed on October 7th. This dark day was the largest attack on the Jewish community since the Holocaust. Celebrating is anti-Semitic and unacceptable. Peace cannot be achieved by weaponizing our tragedies against each other. And like, they're coming after this guy. AIPAC is trying to take this guy's job, and he's still pulling this shit. Like, at what point you have nothing to lose? You have nothing to lose. Just stop doing this. They don't care. They're not listening to you. They still think you're an anti-Semite. They still think you're a Hamas supporting anti-Semite. This does nothing. All it does is disrupt and like demobilize your own movement. You know? At what point, when you're like a elected official in the United States, can you just like take a stand here? Just take a stand. Stop doing this. Stop embarrassing yourself. Like, still, like, he's in AIPAC's targets right now. They're going after him. They're trying to take his job. And he's still doing this thing pretending October 7th was some like hate crime. It was this anti-Semitic hate crime. The people that participated in October 7th were motivated because they just hate Jewish people. They just hate Jewish people so much. That's all it was about. Like, I get to a certain extent, if you're part of the Democratic Party establishment, why you have to keep up this fiction. But when they're actually actively coming for you, they're trying to get you fired. They're trying to take everything away from you. And you're still doing this. You're still apologizing to these people. You know, he is getting primaried. He might win, he might not. I don't know what's going to happen. But the thing is, it demobilizes people that might support you. If you're drawing a line in the sand and you're getting primaried because you've taken this nominally pro-Palestine stance, then you have to rely on people to like support you, to like show up for you, to make sure that doesn't happen. And then you demobilize them when you try to do this like triangulation shit. Yeah, there's a new UN report that confirms they're liars. There's a new UN report that confirms in no uncertain terms that there's zero evidence that any rapes took place, let alone mass rapes ordered by Hamas. There's this in this UN report. It indicates that violence against women took place on that day, which is true. I mean, that's undeniably true. We can debate about the source of that violence. I don't think it's uncontroversial to say that like some of the participants did engage in violence against non-combatants. But this whole idea that there was this like mass rape campaign was always a lie, you know? It was always a lie. I don't support genocide is actually a slam dunk campaign policy. And you know what, Marty? If you run on I don't support genocide, no apologies, no triangulation, and you lose, well, you lost. And you didn't sell your soul. What's the point of being an elected official in the first place? You know? Just take a stand. Like, it's 8 months into this thing. They're coming after you. Just take a stand. If you lose, you lose. And you managed to keep your integrity. Rather than whatever this is. There may have been people like pro-Palestine activists that were going to now work for this guy's campaign and try to get him reelected. And now it's just like, well, what's the point? What's the point? You're claiming that like Palestinian armed struggle is basically like they're basically Nazis. Oh, but we're building power though. You don't understand. We've got to do this because we're building power. I'm tired of hearing this. What are you building power to do exactly? What are you building power to do? That's the question that no one seems to want to have an answer for it. There's tens of thousands of little kids being murdered. It's like now seems like a good time to whatever kind of clout or chips that you might have, cash it in. harm reduction, power building. It's been the same shitty arguments for decades. I mean, as long as I've been paying attention to this, it's been the same thing. And all these progressive policies are just as far away now as they ever were. The whole progressive movement has gone backwards since 2015. They're not even talking about like healthcare anymore. They're not even talking about Medicare for all. And then she's retweeting this guy. This is another like liberal Zionist guy, Yair Rosenberg of The Atlantic, saying like the idea that AOC wants or needs AIPAC money is laughable. And she, of course, supports that and says it is laughable. We can mobilize to end the atrocities in Gaza and combat the rise of anti-Semitism at the same time. Two things can be true at once, Sweaty. Bigotry in organizing spaces imperils everyone's work. Bigotry this is bigotry in organizing spaces, according to that event she did yesterday, means not including Zionists in organizing spaces. Means drawing a line and saying, if you're a Zionist, we don't want you as part of this movement. That's the bigotry in organizing spaces that she's referring to. Bigotry in organizing spaces imperils everyone's work. I work to end the war, protect all my constituents, and fight AIPAC. Believe it or not, you can do all three. What an embarrassment. What an absolute embarrassment. God damn, dude. Protect all my constituents. And what constituents is she talking about that are under some kind of threat right now? Cave to the people that want to continue the war. Yeah, and again, like, it just goes back to this idea of, like, you know, the idea of Zionism, it's actually just this wholesome, benign thing. That's all. All it is the belief in Jewish self-determination. All it is the belief in a Jewish homeland. That's it. And you can be a Zionist, and you can be involved in this kind of progressive organizing. Again, I didn't agree with this stance like, you know, a year ago, but this was at least like a somewhat tenable position. Again, I don't agree personally, but like, I get that you could say this. I get that you could say this kind of shit. 8 months into this mass murder, the most horrific fucking crimes that we've seen in like modern history, fully subsidized by the US government, and you're still doing this bullshit about liberal Zionism. Like, I'm sorry, it's over. The liberal Zionist mirage is gone now. It's gone forever. I'm sorry to be the one to break bad news to people. You know, and I know I was on this yesterday. You know, maybe I'm beating a dead horse here. How do you still, 8 months into this, still believe in this completely phony idea of progressive liberal Zionism? There's no progressive Zionism. It's not just this beautiful, wonderful, peaceful ideology about self-determination where they want to live side by side with their Palestinian brothers and sisters. It's gone. I'm sorry. The dream is dead. This is completely fictional. It's a completely fake idea. They're desperately trying to rescue it. Well, that's it, but it's gone. I'm sorry. And you know who you have to blame for that? If you're someone that really cares about this or believes that this is still a possibility, I know those folks are still out there. You know who to blame? Israel. It's their fault. It's their fault for killing that dream because the people in the ruling class in Israel have nothing to do with that. There's no Zionism without ethnic cleansing, apartheid, genocide. It's completely inseparable. There's no Jewish homeland that's ever going to exist that is not that doesn't run on apartheid and genocide and ethnic cleansing. Like, I'm sorry to be the one to have to tell people this. And well, Rob's a Gentile. Rob can't be talking about this. Rob's a non-Jew, and he's going to tell Jewish people what to think. I don't know what you want me to tell you. If there's ever like an ethno-state of Robs that are committing like horrible crimes in order to justify its existence, guess what? I give you all the pass to criticize it and to say that it has no right to exist. Okay? Like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. I give you all the pass to say, no, this is bad and we don't support it. The founders of Zionism said so themselves, stuff like, we have to get rid of the Arab population. They're literally like, we want to do settler colonialism and ethnic cleansing. That's always been what it is. And I know that that was obscured for a long time, but we all see very clearly what it is now. So no, if you're going to still support this project, no, you're not, you don't get to be like included in this movement anymore. Sorry to tell you. They kept moaning about leftist litmus tests or whatever. I don't care how left or right someone is. Having child killer supporters on your stream is just bad and sucks. And I think it undoes a lot of the good work people do, you know? I think AOC has said some good things over the last couple of months about this. I think Jamal Bowman has said good things. I think there are other streamers and people that have said good things and done really good work on this. But it completely delegitimizes that. It does. I'm sorry. And once again, it's you're buying into this whole idea that if you don't think Israel has a right to exist, that you think that there should be genocide of Jewish people, which I do not, and I know no one else thinks that either. If Jews want to continue to live in that region just as they have for centuries, they should. They should live side by side in one state. That's not a Western-sponsored ethno-state. That's upheld by genocide and ethnic cleansing. You know? And if you've spent the last several decades being so fucking racist and grotesque, and you're worried that that's going to be visited on you if the situation ever changes, well, I'm sorry, but that's your problem. That sounds like a you problem. You shouldn't have done it in the first place, I guess. Like, what do you want me to tell you? There's no Jewish ethno-state in this region without ethnic cleansing, genocide, and apartheid. That's one thing that I've come to understand very clearly over the last 8 months. I understood it before, but if there was any kind of like question that I had about that, those questions have been answered over the last 8 months. Maybe there shouldn't be any ethno-states. I feel like, why? It's the Western colonialist mentality. That's your solution to everything. The world will be, and ultimately it's very racist, and it goes completely against this whole idea of like multiculturalism. The world will be this like peaceful place when every different ethnicity has their own little special place that they can go live. Then everything's going to be fine. Well, that's not how this shit works. Once we turn China into 5 different states of different ethnicities, different ethno-states, everything's going to be dandy. Everything's going to be fantastic there. If only there were some more examples of this we could take a look at over the history. All these very highly successful ethno-states. The Reddit map of balkanized China is so cursed. I know, it's cursed. It's a very Reddit-ass ideology. And I mean, this is a point that I made on the podcast the other day. Like this whole idea of like this like the vision for like this living side by side without Hamas and without extremism. You can just look at the West Bank. Look at the West Bank and see how that's going, and really ask yourself if this is the solution that you're looking for, that we should put political capital behind. Gosh. Anyway, I just find the Jamal Bowman thing frustrating because it's just like, what do you have to lose at this point? What do you have to lose? Just take a stance. Take a stance. Like, they already hate you. I'm sorry to tell you, they already hate you. People in the West Bank have never touched the sea. Yeah, no, it seems like a really great sort of status quo to strive for. He's crazy on his end because it's in no way helpful on any front, pragmatically, electorally, or morally. Nope, it's just purely stupid. There's no benefit whatsoever to this kind of triangulation. Hopefully it and the AOC situation can teach the people who keep falling for this shtick that you don't in fact have to support somebody just because the conservatives hate them. Another good example, Fetterman. And that's why the Israel question is a really good litmus test. The whole progressive except for Palestine thing. Fetterman was always a Zionist. It had nothing to do with having a stroke or having some kind of a heel turn. He was always a Zionist. And then when it came time to like pick a side, he picked the side that he was always on. And there was people, I think even me included, that were willing to say like, oh, this guy seems all right, except for that issue is obviously really bad, but it looks like he has these good values in these other ways. And then look where that gets you, you know? First half of this interview with Gideon Levy is pretty prescient around this topic if you want to throw something on. Yeah, this seems good. This seems good to take a look at. I wanted to look at this John Mearsheimer thing, but I don't know. And I guess just to go back to like what we were talking about here with this whole like Nova Festival thing. You know, I pointed this out in the Discord server. This whole like we will dance again thing. This is the callousness, dehumanization, and targeting of Jews on display at last night's protest outside the Nova Festival exhibit was atrocious anti-Semitism, plain and simple. Anti-Semitism has no place in our city, nor any broader movement that centers human dignity and liberation. And these were some of the signs in this like peaceful, this beautiful, peaceful Nova We Will Dance Again exhibit. Our unity will let us heal. The Gazans are all Amalek. They should be wiped off the face of the earth. Treat them as they treat us. That is the only language they understand. May God avenge their blood. I'm struck by the hope and beauty of the will to survive. I'm filled with shame and embarrassment that Muslim people are our cousins. I can't comprehend an Allah who is proud of his children and Muhammad's descendants. may the love of life of the nation of Israel overcome the evil of the something of Islam. This whole idea, like, I can't imagine in a law that would support violence as they've murdered tens of thousands of people. That's really rich too. Why don't they love peace and humanity like us? We're not like them. They worship death. They're these violent murderers. I can't imagine a religion that would support that. Meanwhile, in my religious ethno-state that gets paid for by the U.S. government, where we just kill tens of thousands of people and rape people to death in our torture prisons, where we've been occupying this land for 80 fucking years. That's okay, though. Ours is the religion of peace. Theirs is the religion of violence and death. Like, yeah, and this is what they're defending. This is what like AOC and Jamal Bowman are defending, and ensuring that anyone that was out there protesting this correctly, as Sana Saeed points out, explicit genocide propaganda. And people protest that, and AOC and Jamal Bowman and others accuse them of being basically Nazis. What was the example of anti-Semitism? It was the fact that people protested this event, which people have spun to turn as the protesters supported all the mass murder of music festival attendees. But really, it was just people protesting a genocidal propaganda event. And again, I don't know what happened at that music festival. You know, I don't. We watched that Al Jazeera documentary, and there's a kind of a gap between seeing the footage of this festival and these paragliders coming in and then showing up later and seeing a bunch of corpses at this festival. I don't know what happened. I don't think it's that unlikely that Hamas or whoever else that ended up showing up did kill people. And I think that's horrible. I think it's horrible. Regardless of like the whole element of this, like, were they peace activists? Was this a party outside of a concentration camp? There's that whole element. Did Israel show up? Was there crossfire with the IDF? Were they responsible for some of the corpses? I don't know. Again, I don't think it's that unlikely that there was murders that happened and that took place. You know, I've seen people express this sentiment like their military bases got hit and then they just killed a bunch of their own civilians so they would have an excuse to commit genocide. I don't know if that's true. I don't know how much of that is true at all. I do believe, and I think there's been reporting about civilian casualties on the part of the IDF on that day. I don't think that's controversial to point out. In both with these helicopters attacking people and cars leaving this festival and firing shells off in these kibbutzes. But when you're doing this event, regardless of what you think happened, this event is a pro-genocide propaganda event. This whole like Nova Festival, We Will Dance Again thing. And it's contributing to this narrative that what happened on that day is just this hate crime. That's all it was. And we can't have any nuance about that. We can't support the fact that that was a military operation that went after IDF bases and checkpoints, you know, which are legitimate military targets. We can't have any conversation about that. And then if you show up to protest this event, it gets framed as, oh, you just think you're supporting the murder of festival attendees and stuff. Quick, shred and bury the cars out of respect. That's right. Yeah, just like you'd covered up all the evidence of sexual assault because out of respect. I saw the sexual assaults happen, but then I covered up all the evidence because it was just, you know, out of respect for the people that experienced it. It's the same kind of logic, isn't it? Anyway, my point whenever we talk about this is that I don't want to sit here and pretend that nothing bad happened that day. I don't believe that. However, I will say that the entity that I blame that violence on is Israel. Because even if you talk about non-combatants or quote-unquote innocent people being killed on that day, That's part of the cycle of colonialist violence, and it's the responsibility for that is the occupying colonialist power that's been occupying those lands for 70, 80 years. You keep people in a concentration camp, an open air prison. You cut off any legitimate form of protest, whether it's like the BDS campaign, whether it's the Great March of Return. You dehumanize people, you murder people, you deliberately maim people, including children, and eventually something really bad is going to happen. And that's your responsibility as the colonialist occupying power. And I think it would be this whole idea that like, oh, questioning that what happened on that day, it's pure anti-Semitism. Why would you not question it when there's been so many lies that have been told? That's the other thing. Like, oh, sure, all these other things have proven to be lies, but like, let's still not ask any questions about it because that's being anti-Semitic. You know, that's weird. I find that's a weird logic as well. Oh, sure, there's been 20 different easily disproven lies about the horrible violence that happened that day, but don't question any of the other things though, because you're being an anti-Semite, and it was an attack on Jewish people, just like the Holocaust. They were basically just Nazis. Yeah, they lied about 25 separate incidents, but like the other things those things they didn't lie about. So, like, what are we doing here? Are we children? Like, we can't ask these basic questions? Squeeze the colonized until they react, and then you go further, over and over. This is the same cycle. We've seen it play out over and over and over again in Palestine, in Algeria, in Vietnam. Like, there's just countless examples. But you know what I mean, though? Like, those lies have been proven. And by the way, another one of the people that AOC was talking to as part of that panel has spread all those lies, all the beheaded babies and the babies being cut out of fetuses. The person that was like lecturing everyone about anti-Semitism in leftist organizing spaces has been spending the last 8 months spreading those stories, by the way. If anyone still wants to defend that and think that that was somehow smart politics or good politics to do that. And I don't want to hear like, but so they win an election. Like if she loses, I don't give a shit. I don't. She's playing the game. Well, that's what people say, right? But to what end? To what end are you playing this game? If you're not going to sit there and use the power that you have to try and like support people that are undergoing one of those brutal mass murder campaigns that we've seen in decades, then like, what's the point? Why are you playing this game in the first place? So you can be president in 10 years and maybe come close to passing some watered down Green New Deal that ends up not happening? There, good job. Congratulations. Congratulations, you did it. You have the left branding to sell it later. Obama was a big Palestine guy in the old days, calculated all of them. Yeah, there's all stories about Obama, like hanging out with like Edward Said. Like he knows the history. He knows the arguments. It's not that they don't know. They know. No, I know Plunger Man. We looked at that one already. And like I was saying, Jamal Bowman is even more ridiculous because they're really coming after him to try to get him to lose. And he's still doing this shit. Anyway, I always am trying to be careful whenever we talk about this. I don't want to sit here and talk about October 7th and claim that like everything was great and nothing bad happened. I don't necessarily believe that. If bad things happened, though, I blame Israel. And considering they actually did kill their own people on that day, the number of which, the percentage of which we may never know. But it's about the cycle of colonialist violence. And asking these questions, it's not anti-Semitic to ask these kinds of questions. Or to support Palestinians on that day bulldozing the Gaza prison fence. Yeah, I fucking right, I celebrated that. And I still continue to. It was a beautiful sight. And once again, this is not even people supporting October 7th. This is people protesting a pro-genocide propaganda event. And I'm willing to bet that a not insignificant number of them are Jews themselves. I remember seeing that and being someone who works on the U.S. border. I was like, hell yes, of course you were. Anyone who's paid any attention to this for years said hell yes, and you were correct to do so. And it's worth pointing out that this is what AOC's always been about when it comes to Israel. She was campaigning during the Great March of Return when that was going on. She was making statements about this when she was campaigning. She called it a massacre, which it was. She was absolutely correct to do it. And then as soon as she won the election, she got called out on that. Did you say it was a massacre? Do you believe that? And what did she say? Instead of saying, yes, I did say that, for this reason and this reason and this reason, she said, and it's like, well, again, it's like, it's always been clear with a lot of these people, whether it's AOC or Fetterman. I think that you can point to good values that either of them have on a number of issues, but it's like, they've always been like this when it comes to Palestine. October 7th is a symptom to a much bigger issue than mainstream narrative wants to avoid. Without a solution, the cycle will continue. I mean, Dimser, like this whole idea that, we can just kill our way out of the problem. This is what we have to do. We just have to kill enough people, and we'll ensure that nothing like that will ever happen again. When all they have accomplished over the last 8 months is ensure the exact opposite, that it will happen again. And the next time will probably be more significant. And their own actions have ensured that. I mean, I've been asking this question as well. The simple thing to point to is how can AOC call it a genocide and then do a PR stunt with Biden? Like, what circle do you have to square to do that? It's this like progressive triangulation thing. I'm sorry, but it just doesn't work. Oh, it's a genocide. By the way, I'm going to throw on some aviators and encourage people to vote for the guy that's funding the genocide. And then Israel goes into Rafah, and people like AOC say like, oh, they're going after Biden's red line. President Biden, you should withhold aid to Israel now. And what happened? Nothing. Nothing happened. That's where your triangulation got you. Like I've said before, there's people that have made whole careers online sitting here and just trashing like progressive Democrats all day. I try to avoid that. I do think people like AOC can have really good like views and progressive ideas, and they can play this kind of role in like this kind of like harm reduction or whatever. Like I get that, but it's like when we're talking about the mass murder, we're talking about the mass murder of little kids. I don't think you can do this triangulation bullshit. It's completely nonsensical. It's completely incoherent. No, I don't get it at this point either. I think being like getting this wrong as she is doing, and basically every single other progressive member of the United States Congress except Rashida Tlaib, maybe Cori Bush, are the only ones that have come remotely close to actually having a principled stance. But that's it. Under whatever value they might have or whatever good ideas they might have, it gets undermined by continuing to support Israel. The funniest thing is that it's like Biden's immigration policy. The people right of you aren't going to give you credit for this shit either. I mean, you just need to look at the comments. It's great that you said this. Thank you. I would encourage you to consider how your words and actions have contributed to encouraging and emboldening the lunatics on your side who were responsible for this. They're the same people protesting on college campuses. You know, the ones you encouraged and embraced. While I appreciate you are writing this post knowing the backlash that you'll get from people who think that anti-Semitism isn't a problem, you are the wrong person to give this message. For years, you have enmeshed yourself in a movement that is entirely built on anti-Semitism. AOC, too little, too late. We as Jews need friends and allies, not politicians who use all their free time learning how to perform a not-so-successful balancing act. This is the mob you played a pivotal role in cultivating. You're one of the biggest anti-Semites in Congress, AOC. Kindly shut the fuck up. It's too late for you to be forgiven. Just resign in disgrace and go back to bartending. Those are the bridges that are being built. See, everyone's convinced. But Biden just gave Gaza $404 million. Well, I think when you pay for the bombs that are being dropped on people's heads for 8 straight months, and you support the mass murder of tens of thousands of people, including little kids, you can't then at the same time be like, by the way, here's a nice present. Here's a nice gift. You're welcome, everybody. The rescue operation that just killed over 200 people, then here's a couple bucks for the trouble that we had boots on the ground for. Yes. Anyway, I'm going to get to this video now. If people do want to support this program, though, please do subscribe if you can. Do the show each and every day. I'm going on 3 hours today. So if you do want to please support the channel by subscribing or gifting subs, every little bit helps. I appreciate it a lot. We're going to get to this video content now. So if you can, please subscribe and support the work that I do here on Twitch, folks. As you know, every single day I've got to make this little number at the bottom of the screen go up. So if possible, please subscribe or gift subs. Become a elite tier member of the Friendship Triangle system by gifting 5 subs or above. The Friendship Triangle, that's Twitch's only 2-dimensional triangle-shaped friendship access and trickle-down clout tiered reward system. It's the only such system that exists on this entire platform. Have you considered sucking up to larger liberal streams? I hear it's quite profitable. No, I mean, I think my refusal to do so has directly limited my ability to grow on this platform. It's not a pyramid. Should I say two-dimensional, triangle-shaped friendship access and trickle-down cloud tiered reward system.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Bonsai Prince Buddy, thanks for 29 months. Very cool. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, it's frustrating. And I don't want to spend all my time shitting on like progressive politicians in America or Canada or whatever, but like I do think it's important. Like, and I do think this is like we have to be honest with ourselves and each other about this kind of like progressive triangulation that some people are trying to do, who say things about Palestine that claim to want to support Palestinians and then turn right around and like demobilize this whole movement. I just don't think this is a coherent viewpoint anymore, if it ever was. And I don't think it ever really was, but it's especially not coherent after the last 8 months. Like, we can't look at the last 8 months and just honestly ask ourselves why people that participated in what happened on October 7th felt the need to do so. It's not clear. You really want to call people like anti-Semites for asking these questions? Like, come on. We really don't see why the armed struggle is necessary. And like we've talked about before, it's not like a lot of these people that are part of this movement, the Qassam brigades, it's not like they just grow up wanting to be in a war. A lot of these people, they will do interviews and they will talk and say, Israel killed my parents. Israel killed my brother. Israel killed my best friend. I just want to be able to live in my land and be free and be sovereign. That's what a lot of these people say. They're not Nazis. They're not anti-Semites. They don't just hate Jewish people. They're fighting for their survival. They're fighting for their sovereignty, something that we should all be able to understand. We talk on and on about Israeli self-determination, how it's totally linked with Jewish self-determination, but we can't talk about Palestinian self-determination. All they can do to have self-determination is take less and less and less, and finally take whatever shitty deal they end up getting offered after being genocided for decades and decades. That's all the self-determination they get. Israel's self-determination takes the form of tanks and planes and armies, occupying military bases, genocide. That's what their self-determination looks like. Any Palestinian self-determination that involves picking up a gun or a rocket launcher or a grenade or even a fucking rock is like, no, they're basically Nazis. Like, how are we still doing this? How are we still having this conversation? I find it really frustrating 8 months into this that we can't have a fucking honest conversation about this. I can't imagine growing up in Palestine, having my family bombed and not joining a group like Hamas. Of course, no one can. Like, growing up in the fucking West, this idea where we're going to judge people that have been under colonial occupation for decades, in their whole lives in a lot of cases, literally their entire lives, and we're going to sit there and judge them and call them Nazis. I think something like 70% of Al-Qassam militants were orphans pre-October 7th. Like, it's not fucking hard to understand why this stuff happens. And progressive politicians, the best of the best, progressive politicians, still trotting this thing out. It's the worst attack on Jews since the Holocaust. This was just a big hate crime. That's all it was. It's just pathetic. I'm sorry. I find it really frustrating. Okay, final call to action, folks. I'm going to go ahead and put on this video now. that our friend Dakadoon sent over. Final call to action. If you want to please support the channel, 8 out of 35 subs, a mere 27 to go, a mere 27 subs to go. Basically nothing. It is basically nothing to get there. So if you can, please subscribe. Please subscribe to this program. Like I said, some of these views that I talk about on here are not exactly very popular. That's just the reality. But I'm really fortunate to be able to have this platform and have this show and the ability to talk about this stuff. And the only way that I'm able to do it is through the support of the community. So if possible, please do subscribe and support the work that I do here on Twitch. And I'm sorry for the calls to action, but I gotta trying to get the number, trying to do the number to go up because I'm almost 3 hours into the stream. 2 days of hitting the sub goal back to back. They're saying it can't be done, but we'll show them right. I actually think it would be 3 days today if we were able to do it today. Well, eventually these calls to action are going to work out. Let's get on to this video, which I think gets into some of these discussions we've been having today.
Steve Clemens, and I have a question. With a totally fractured leadership and with international pressure mounting over its war on Gaza, where is Israel heading? Let's get to the bottom line. It's been 9 months of relentless bombs, of tanks and sniper bullets, of death and destruction by Israel in Gaza, but it feels like the war is just starting all over again. Negotiations for a ceasefire take place here and there, but any new deal seems like an illusion. Now that Israel alone controls all entry points into the Gaza Strip, food and other supplies are barely getting in. The Israeli army finds itself fighting on several fronts in Gaza, on the border with Lebanon, and all throughout the West Bank, with no light at the end of this very dark tunnel. Yet inside the Israeli government, some politicians are objecting. Some are calling for new elections and threatening to abandon Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, saying that his talk of total victory in Gaza is a ploy to just keep him in office and a catchy slogan that in the long run could be catastrophic for both Israel and Palestine. So what's going on? And what's the end game for Israel? Today we're talking with Gidon Levy, a veteran journalist with the Israeli newspaper Haaretz, and he's also author of The Punishment of Gaza. Great to be with you today, and thanks for joining us. Let me ask you about Israel and Israel's stance. I'm really interested in this question on what it means from your perspective to be pro-Israel in today's Israel.
I'll give you, Steve, my opinion, which is not a very common one. Being a real, genuine friend of Israel means to push Israel to put an end to this war. Being a genuine friend of Israel who cares about its future means put pressure on Israel to put an end to the apartheid and to the occupation. Nothing but this. What the Americans are doing and others is, like a drug addict. Supply the drug addict with more money. He will be very happy about it. He will buy more drugs. But that's not friendship and that's not care.
How has Israel's response sort of blended everyone on the Palestinian side into being a villain?
It was really a very decisive moment, a moment that changed the whole Israeli society in many ways, because the last remains of the Israeli peace camp were crashed on this day. The Israelis, almost all of them, including the peaceniks and the leftists, came to the conclusion that after those atrocities of the 7th of October, there's a new game in town now. Israel has the right to do whatever it wants. Gaza must be punished in any possible way. There is no place for any empathy to the people of Gaza, to the victims of Gaza, to the children of Gaza. Nothing. And unfortunately, this is still valid on this moment when we are almost 8 months after the war started.
You said that Israel's essential behavior, and to some degree you implied its impunity, came from this belief that the Bible, that this righteousness, that American guarantor, and this nuclear research lab down the road essentially gave it this unparalleled, unconstrained ability to behave any way it wants. Do you see any part of that equation, if I framed it correctly, coming undone?
First of all, that's exactly what I meant. I meant that Israel is trusting the Bible, the Mona, and the Holocaust. We don't have to forget this. Being the victims of the Holocaust makes Israelis believe that they have the right to do whatever they want. The only crack that I can see now is really when Israelis will start to realize that there is no total guarantee that all this will happen and the world will continue to behave as it behaved before this horrible war. There are already indications for this. You are now in DC and you know what's going on in the campuses in the United States. The next generation of decision makers in America are in those campuses, and they will treat Israel entirely different. This will be a new generation with a new approach toward Israel, with an approach which will say, okay, we are spending so much of our taxpayers' money on Israel, which is an American choice, as if Israel is the most needed place on earth, but there must be some conditions for this. Until now, it was unconditional. So I really see that things might change now after the 7th of October, and not necessarily for the bad.
It's a bit overly
Again,
optimistic on his
Israel,
part.
which will feel that it has, that
I
it
think
should have
the reality is that this is an
some
extreme
fate,
minority
is a
viewpoint.
better Israel.
Like that's, I do appreciate hearing this perspective, but like what he's articulating is the viewpoint of an extreme minority in that society that has no real political power and probably never will.
I'm interested in Gidon Levy being on this island in Israel. And how many people are on your island? And is your population increasing or decreasing as this conflict goes on?
I think we can all meet in a public phone. There are very few left. That's the truth. The atmosphere is really terrible. The other day, I was sitting in a cafe in the Tel Aviv Museum, which is really quite a respected place. And my friend was a Swedish writer. And all of a sudden, a woman came to me and really almost touched me with her face and said only one word, Boged, traitor, and went away. This is the atmosphere right now. Saying the truth is treason. Feeling empathy toward the Palestinians, toward the victims is treason. Showing the suffer of Gaza is treason. We never faced it. Israel was always very concentrated in its own victims, in its own problems, which is totally natural and understandable. But Israel was never so blind to what's going on 1 hour away from here. We were always blind toward it, and the Israeli media is helping us to be so blind and not to know anything. But at this war, we reached a peak that I don't remember such a denial, such blindness, not to know, not wanting to know. Don't bother us with killed children. Don't bother us with starvation. And if you do bother us with starvation, you are not an Israeli patriot.
You wrote about Israel's incursion into Gaza back in 2009. And if anyone reads this book, it reads as if it's a map for what has
I thought there was a ceasefire before
and
October
it's
7th.
incredibly prescient about many of the problems. And I ask you, do you see anything optimistic as you look forward, given the crisis that you first punctuated with this powerful book?
So you see, Steve, in October, there will appear the second part of this book. And you don't know how depressed I am by the fact that it's more or less a copy of the first part. I mean, we are in the same place, obviously in a much worse place than then. My only optimism can come from the fact that I always thought that it must get much worse before it will get better. Not that I'm a Marxist, the Marxists believed in it, but Israel lived a too good life, and Israelis got used not to be taken accountable for anything around them. And maybe this war will change it, because once Israelis will be taken accountable for those horrible things, I mean, such horrible things are being done on our behalf, and Israelis feel so good about it. They only care about their own victims, which is natural that you prefer your own victims, but not to see the other. So look, it will be very hard for me to spread optimism right now, because I cannot draw an optimistic scenario. I mean, wherever I look, what will be? What leadership can make a change? With whom? But by the end of
Great
the day,
questions.
maybe it will get so terrible that there will
This
be
is
no
why,
other
unfortunately,
choice.
for
But
anyone that had these kind of
because
values,
without
Israel
radical
is
change, we
on
will
its
face
way
the
out.
same thing
It's
in 2-3
circling.
years
It's
again.
heading towards the dustbin of history.
Play for you a soundbite of Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, who's reflecting on the Gaza crisis and the future.
In the absence of a plan for the day after, there won't be a day after. And this is where we need to go. And we need to get as quickly as possible a plan for the day after that does not leave Israel responsible for Gaza, which it says it does not want to be. But if it is, it will simply have an enduring insurgency on its hands for as far as one can see into the future. Or not. If not, Hamas will be left in charge, which is unacceptable. Or if not,
Why is that
we'll have
unacceptable?
chaos, lawlessness, and a vacuum that eventually will be filled again by
Why is
or
Hamas
maybe
being in charge
something that's
unacceptable?
possible to imagine even worse, jihadis.
I'd love to get your reaction to this.
First of all, I obviously agree.
You've
to every
created the
word said
conditions
by
that
the
led to
Secretary,
Hamas existing in the
but
first
it's
place.
part of the picture. The other part is that in the current circumstances, there are no conditions
Yeah, I
for
agree,
the day
Kudu
after.
Malama.
Okay, we get rid of Hamas. We
Any
achieved all
deal,
our
regardless of the terms, will be violated by
goals
Israel
around
before the
Gaza.
ink is dry.
I mean, Gaza without
And
Hamas
I'm sure
will turn into Somalia.
Palestinians will be blamed
Gaza
for
with
it.
Hamas will remain Hamas.
Jihadis, that's right. They're
There is
jihadis,
no
Dr.
way,
Maggot.
unless Israel change radically its attitude toward the Palestinian question as a whole. You cannot separate Gaza from the West Bank. You cannot separate the situation in Gaza from the entire picture of a brutal occupation of
Did
56
Blinken just admit that they
years
aren't
of
jihadis?
an
I thought they
apartheid
were.
state.
I thought he was saying
Those
that they
things
were.
will not be touched.
Maybe I misunderstood.
There will be no solution for the day after, even if Secretary Blinken is right by saying that Israel doesn't have a plan. The current Israel cannot have a plan. It's not that it doesn't have a plan. It cannot have a plan. Who will run Gaza according to Blinken in the present circumstance? Whom does he suggest? I mean, the Swiss army. Who is going to
Benjamin
run
is
Gaza,
not
for
interested in a ceasefire or
and
leaving
as long
Gaza.
as we
No.
don't change the basic attitude.
And I think there's
I
a lot
don't
of
see
people in
any
Israeli
solution.
society that have no interest in that
One
either.
of the horrific things we saw televised was the aftermath of a bombing of a camp in Rafah of innocent people, 45 dead, many more injured, burned children. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu said that this was a tragic error and a mistake that would be investigated. It was a U.S. bomb used in this camp. The question I have in this is, how does someone in Israel who sees the same footage not think that those kinds of incidents are going to create a new next generation of people with deep grievances who want to settle the score, or who
They do think that. That's why they support continuing to murder all the kids. That's the whole thing. They're well aware that they're creating the next generation of resistance fighters. That's why they're like, kill them all now. That's what this is a extremely popular position in Israeli society.
revenge, whose parents or children or sisters and brothers were killed in this awful way. How is there no sense of that injustice breeds violence?
Your assumptions, Steve, are wrong. First of all, you are sure that the Israelis watched those scenes. I mean, they were shown those scenes. I don't want to say that they were not shown, but it's all about framing, as we both know.
Look at those
And even this horrible incident.
Just
was
look in
presented-
this horrible incident. Again, if we're talking about Israel, they're not showing those scenes. Maybe to an extent that's true, but like, go and there's people, like, we know people that are in these Israeli Telegram groups. Not only do they look at these scenes, they celebrate them. They mock the dead kids. They laugh and they think it's fucking great. You know, what do you do with that? What are we supposed to do with that?
To the Israelis in a very soft and short way, namely, it happens in war, things like this happen. Some blame on Hamas, who is hiding among the refugees there. Some hints that maybe it was Palestinian ammunition which was bombed. nothing but taking accountability, nothing but feeling some kind of mercy on those victims. So the Israelis don't even go farther than this. Before you think about the consequences, how will the world see it and how will the next generation of Palestinians see it, you have first of all to look upon yourself and to declare, to be touched by it, to say that you are sorry about it. What the Prime Minister said was hollow. He said it because the International Criminal Court is the International
Yes,
Court.
they had over 125,000 followers celebrating the toddler without a head. And so it's not these like small, insignificant groups. And yeah, we looked at some of those comments on this stream, and it's fucking grotesque.
Of justice is like a dark side following him now because they are all very scared of what will be their rulings. But he didn't mean it, obviously, and even what he said was hollow. Where is the apology? Where is the sorrow? Where is the empathy with the victims, for God's sake? Nothing of it you heard. We are asking and demanding the whole world to share our agony about the hostages, to share our agony about the killed soldiers, but we don't spare any emotions toward our victims.
I listened to some Israeli cabinet officials who say that any move towards a ceasefire, any consideration of Israeli withdrawal would be a gift for Hamas. How is that equation playing out? And are there any dissenting voices that we should listen to and that you think are serious?
You see, Steve, we were both last week in Doha in a very interesting conference, and I met some people that I guess you met as well, senior people in the Qatari administration, and they all told me, we don't have a partner. I mean, Israel is not a partner for a deal right now. And it's very clear from here that this government gave up on the hostages. There's no other conclusion that anyone can get except of this. From the beginning.
From 2014 when they were cheering on the bombing from lawn chairs. Yeah, Stereo Cinema or whatever it's called. Yeah. It's not a new phenomenon.
Has to make a choice between the war and releasing the hostages. You have to choose between the two because the two will not be achieved together. Israel clearly chose to continue the war under this notion of the ultimate victory, crashing Hamas, which will never happen, obviously. But by this, we gave up on the hostages, and therefore I don't see any deal in the coming days or weeks. No way. Israel is not interested.
You know, and I want to read you something I'm sure you've seen before, but it's a classified cable that was released as part of the WikiLeaks releases. And in this cable, a State Department official says Israeli officials have confirmed to embassy officials on multiple occasions that they intend to keep the Gazan economy functioning at the lowest level possible, consistent with avoiding a humanitarian crisis. In other words, Israel surrounding Gaza, keeping it at a bare subsistence level. This is years ago. And I'd love to get your thoughts on this. You probably have written about this cable before, but when I read it, you know, I get goosebumps down my back because I think, wow, that is a really incredible state-based plan to never proceed with anything other than bare subsistence for a large number of people, essentially under your control from the exterior.
Steve, how else can you explain the siege over Gaza?
A great example is the recent hostage operation, 200 plus killed for 4 hostages and 1 IDF commando killed. Main narrative is great success. Not even that, but like hostages were killed as well. Which, of course, didn't get really talked about all that much as well in that narrative. But yeah, huge, daring rescue. What a wonderful success. That's the main narrative that comes away from that.
It's now 17 years, so almost 18 years long. There's no other explanation for the siege but what you have just quoted. We don't even need this cable. When Israel put a siege over Gaza, what did you think that will it mean for Gaza? Prosperity, freedom, innovation, wealth? What can come out when you put 2.3 million people in the biggest cage in the world? What did you expect that will come out of it? But the problem is that the international community and the United States on top of it lived in peace with it. As long as the Palestinians didn't shoot, the whole world was very indifferent toward the siege. And this is so critical because the world closed its eyes for 17 years to the fact that Israel is doing a huge crime of war much before the war by putting 2.3 million people in the biggest open jail in the world. And the world said nothing about it.
Do you believe we're seeing Israel commit genocide in Gaza?
I would say so. Here, I have also to be careful because it's all about the court now to decide if is it a genocide or not. I will quote myself with all the modesty. One of my pieces had the title in Haaretz, had the title, "If it's not genocide, what is it?" And I know the genocide requires some conditions. I mean, the legal definition requires intent. I don't think that Israeli government got a decision on the 7th or 8th or 9th of October, we are going for a genocide in Gaza. No, this was not the case. It was also, God forbid, about the comparison, it was not also a plan for a final solution for Gaza. No. But the outcome speaks about itself. This mass killing, how else can you describe it? I mean, 15,000 children. Imagine yourself, 15,000 children being killed. How can we call it? Anti-terror?
There's been genocidal. A big part, like as much as he can try to dispute this idea that there is intent, that's a big part of the South African case in the ICJ, right? Is taking quotes from people in the Israeli government and Israeli military establishment, and taking their quotes, direct quotes, to prove intent, to show that they have intent, and they've had intent to commit genocide since October 7th, and even prior to that as well. So I'm a little skeptical about some of that too.
What else can you call it? So genocide maybe is too sensitive because of history, but isn't it a mass killing? Sure, it is a mass killing.
And that's another thing people say. Like, if they wanted to do genocide, they would just nuke. They would just nuke Gaza. They would just kill everyone. But it's like, I don't think that's true. I'm sure there's people in Israeli society or in the political world or military establishment that would like to do that. They're doing what they think they can get away with, and so far they've been proven correct. If they did just go and start killing millions of people, which would, I guess, satisfy these like fence sitters to be like, oh wow, I guess they are committing genocide. Now we can call it that. If they did do that, then they would cease to exist. Like they're killing the amount of people they think they can get away with killing. And that's the whole point, is like we talking about the genocide before it becomes a mass killing of billions of people. Before it happens, not after. What good is it when we recognize it afterwards? But yeah, this whole idea, if they wanted to, they could just kill everyone. Like, no, they could not. No, they could not, because then they would get wrecked. Then they would get invaded and wrecked by Iran, Hezbollah, whoever else. So no, I don't buy this idea. Like they're failing to meet all their military objectives now with the amount of people that they're killing currently.
Isn't it criminal? Sure, it is criminal.
And yeah, Old Dutch, I think it's absolutely a sure thing that the death toll is significantly higher.
By the meaning that, what will the court say? That it's not a genocide, it's a picnic? It's not with those figures, with this reality? When you throw bombs on neighborhoods, when you kill 45 people, refugees, with the excuse of one or two terrorists or not terrorists who were hiding there, do you have the right to kill 45 people for two terrorists? And where does it end? 45 is okay, and what about 450 innocent people for one terrorist? It's endless, and it's criminal.
Just finally, I'm interested in the political moment, and I'm always careful in this because this may be wrong, but there are some that are saying if elections were held today in Israel, that Prime Minister Netanyahu might be back in power, might be empowered by this moment. If elections were held in Palestine, Hamas may very well win. If you agree with that, the question is, what, if anything, has been achieved in this conflict?
In this war, nothing was achieved, for sure not for Israel. Israel only lost in this war. There's not one single achievement that Israel can show.
The entire Israeli project is under threat right now.
Netanyahu will be re-elected, but it's unbelievable that there is a good chance. The problem is, Steve, and here the picture becomes even more depressing, that even if you will step down, even if he will be replaced, even if Benny Gantz or Lapid or whoever will win those elections, there will be too little change. The world will get out of its way. They will all hug the new because they're all waiting.
Yeah, Joe,
Netanyahu
I
to go
appreciate
home,
this
and
analysis, but
everyone
I think
will
we
want
can
to
have a
meet the
critique
new
of it as
elected
well.
prime minister, and he might even go and meet Mahmoud Abbas in Ramallah. But when it will come to the core issues, continuing the war, continuing the occupation, continuing the apartheid, you think there will be a big change? I have news for you and news for our viewers. Don't expect too much.
Well, we'll have to leave it there. Really appreciate your candor. Israeli journalist and author Gidon Levy, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Steve, for those wonderful questions.
Yeah. Again, I appreciate the perspective, but I think like we should have a sort of critique of that kind of viewpoint, where applicable. So many words and feelings I want to share publicly and loudly, but would likely get me in trouble. I feel like I've pushed the limit on this program of what I can get away with. If I didn't have to think about this stuff, I think probably I would be saying some different things. But I have definitely pushed the boundaries and pushed the limits of what is and is not acceptable to say about this. Definitely, it's one like blessing in disguise. If this community was bigger and I had more people paying attention to this, I would probably be getting in a lot more trouble. Just say in a video game and you're cleared. That's right. Yeah, that's how that works. Instantly becomes legal. The one thing I will say, it's like that Whitest Kids You Know sketch. One thing I'm going to tell you right now is that on Twitch, it is totally illegal and against the terms of service to say, give Iran a nuke and drop it on Israel. Totally illegal. Totally against terms of service. Don't say it. Don't ever say anything like that. You will be banned off the platform if you ever say anything like that. Do not do it. Risk Inverse, thank you. Thank you, Risk Inverse, for the gifted sub. I appreciate it. That was a reference to a sketch, in case anyone's wondering. No one would ever say that, and it's good that you're pointing out that we would never think it or say it. Don't ever say anything like that on this platform or anyone else, anywhere else. Not only is it against terms of service, it's also morally wrong to say things like that. Just some relevant and timely pop culture references, Risk Inverse. And thanks again for the gifted sub. Folks, I got to get going like somewhat soon. I could stay longer. But I think I got to get going pretty soon. I'm going to do one last call to action here. Now I'm 26 subs away from the goal. Now, maybe it's foolish to think that I could get to the sub goal every single day this week. A boy can dream. Maybe it's a foolish dream, but surely we can get somewhat closer to the sub goal. That I know we can do. I know that we can do better than this. I know that beyond a shadow of a doubt.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Duke Vulture, thank you for the gifted sub as well. Happy to have you in the community. I'm glad you came back today. And now you've experienced... Let's have 2 alerts. Let's have 2. Why not? Let's have 2 alerts for the same gifted sub of different alerts also. Let's do that. Thank you. So now you've gotten the full range of conversations today. We covered all the bases.
Wow. Okay, Rob. Seriously,
Oh
wow.
my goodness gracious. Dimster. Good Lord, Dimster, thank you for 10 gifted subs. That is so cool. I love hearing that alert. That is one of the best alerts. I know. It's the combination of the alert sound weirdly, Dimster is not. That something is broken here because it's not going up in like the monthly totals. I think Dimster now would be number 1, and it's somehow not counting. I don't understand what's going on with that. Maybe one day we'll hear the 20 sub alert because that is even more iconic, if you can imagine. No, there's something weird going on. Stop the steal. This is what I'm saying. Because listen, I appreciate very much Joe110, Kijiji, and Dan Wally, who are currently the number 1, 2, 3 in gifted subs for this month. Dimster, I think now should be number 1. I do not know what's going on with this. Anyway, Dimster, I really appreciate the support over the last couple of days. Really, very, very cool, very kind of you, and it really helps me out so much to have people that support this program. So thank you very much, seriously. And does anyone else want to match Dimster's freak? Does anyone want to go aura for aura? We got 15 subs to go now. Thanks to Dimster's generosity. We'll see, Dave. We'll see, Duke. Excuse me. We'll see, Duke Felcher. Sometimes I do like to reach a helping hand outward and help smaller, struggling streamers and help them get their stream seen, you know? Everyone chasing the Hassan cloud. I mean, listen, I get it. You got to grow on here. It's the only thing you have to. So I get it, you know? That's how it works. Did anyone get the mobile update for Twitch? They're trying to turn it into TikTok. Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. That does not sound good. Would anyone else like to support this stream and support this community? 15 subs away from the goal. It can be done. Don't say that it can't be done. Hasn't your stream gotten smaller? It does feel like that way sometimes. There's definitely been, like, this is kind of inside baseball, but like, there's definitely been times over the last couple of years that I felt like I was like taking that next step, getting to that next echelon, you know? And it always seems to, but, you know, nothing I can do except put my head down and keep showing up day after day. Red Wizard, thank you for thanks for 2 gifted subs, Red Wizard. Thank you. Thank you, Red Wizard. I was here for the iconic 1K viewers running away from the Stalin book. Man, that one day that I got put on the Twitch front page, though, was nice. And I had like organic
You've
1K
just become
viewers.
An elite member of the Friendship Triangle.
That was nice. I could get used to that. Cat Friendly 01, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Very cool. Thank you, Cat Friendly.
Wow. Okay, Rob. Seriously, wow.
Good Lord. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Dimster. Wow. Seriously? Wow. That's all I have to say. Dimster, I really appreciate the support. I really, really appreciate it. Seriously. Thank you. The Stalin book incident was one of the finest moments in TRRS history. You have to laugh at it, you know? You have to laugh. You just have to. And for those of you that were not here, this is what happened on that day was... Does anyone have a clip of the Stalin book incident? I don't think so. I remember I screenshotted it. What happened that day, Duke Vulture, was there was this weird experiment where a couple of like random lefty streamers kept getting put on the Twitch front page. And it happened to me like earlier that week. I got put on the front page of Twitch and I had like organically like 1,200 viewers. Like it was really cool. It was really exciting. And then it happened again. It was like later that week and I see the viewers shooting up right back into the thousands. And I was like, oh my God, this is so exciting. And I was just trying to make conversation with people. And on that day, I had received a little book in the mail because I was excited about my new book, the Losurdo historical book, Stalin, History and Critique of a Black Legend. And I was excited to show it to the chat. And I said, look, chat, I just got this new book. Isn't that exciting? Isn't this exciting? I just got my new Losurdo book, Stalin, History and Critique of a Black Legend. And instantly, while the book was in my hand, I see all the viewers just go right back down to normal levels. And I was just like, Did it go down exactly like that? Yes, it did. I 9/11 the viewer count. I did. But, you know, I was just excited about my book. What can you tell me? What do you want me to say? I was excited to show chat my book. Oh, excuse me if I like to read books sometimes. Excuse me. I remember you can I put a tweet out about it. I don't use the TRRS Twitter account very much. We can't learn from history anymore. It's literally a critique. It's a critique of a black legend. Man, my mustache was crazy there. Wow. Sometimes I see myself like that. I forget that I used to look like this for a while. You know what I mean? Hello, I'm here from the state. Lower your prices. This is my solution to inflation. I like this look, but I think I look better now, though. That was the biggest it's ever been. Wow, the cost of milk and eggs and dairy products and fruit and vegetables has gone up so much. Guess what? No, it hasn't. One of my high school English teachers is big in the JFK conspiracy world. So am I, Duke Vulture. So am I. That's one of my main things. Bring back the stash. I don't know. I kind of like how I look now. You know? I kind of like it. Let me see if I can find it. Marty. Apple Vision Pro. Where is it? Where's this picture? This is a while ago now, I guess. You can see, Marty, you were doubting me. You were doubting me. You can actually see it. God damn it. Oh gosh. I still haven't even read the book. They hated Rob because he told the truth. It's history and critique. It's not unapologetic history where we think everything was good. It's critique is right there in the title. Like, I don't know. Jeez. Risk Inverse, thank you very much for the $15. That's very cool. Thank you.
Rob, you keep me young.
Thank you, Risk Inverse. Well, whatever. Whatever. I regret nothing. Anyway, if anyone feels like gifting 13 subs in the next 5 minutes, I'll sing a little song. Otherwise, I'm going to say goodbye now. And I'm going to play Red Dead Redemption 2 for an hour. I will sing a little song if I get 13 more subs in the next few minutes. You know what? If not, it's all right. Why isn't the... Nothing's working on here anymore. Nothing's working. You got to take a picture of your character. Well, I haven't really unlocked much new like fashion stuff. I literally just got to Horseshoe Overlook, so there's like the game's just starting pretty much. Once I have some more customization, then we can see. Why not stream RDR2? I think I just have to figure out how the capture card works. Once I get that sorted out and figure out how to do that, I will consider doing that. Because I've been playing it over there on my PS4. Yeah, I have it, Marty. I just need to figure out how it works. Like, that's all. I just have to figure out how it works. I literally have Marty literally very generously sent me a capture card for this exact purpose. So I just got to figure that out, and I can do some streams of some game streams from over there instead of from here. This is the primary reason I've not really been gaming much, just because I'm tired of sitting in this chair all the time. I will figure it out, okay? I will figure it out. I don't know about today, but I will figure it out in short order, all right? So thanks again for tuning in, folks. I appreciate it a lot. We got our friend Doc Hollywood streaming. Thanks again for tuning in, gang. I'll be back tomorrow. As usual. All right. I appreciate you all for hanging out and supporting the show. And I appreciate being able to have these conversations with people in the chat and the community. I'll see you tomorrow at noon Eastern at the latest. Noon Eastern at the latest. Have a great day, Rob. You are loved and handsome. Thank you, Up the Reds. I'm definitely handsome from this angle. This is my problem. When I'm in my little box here on your phone, yeah, okay, I think I look all right. It's outside of this is where I have a problem. When I go outside the phone, then I run into problems. These are my problems. If I just lived in the phone permanently, I would feel all right about myself, but unfortunately not always possible. Give my regards to our friend Doc Hollywood. See you folks tomorrow.